What's happening, guys? What are we doing? We had a little tie up there, but we have it fixed now. Itty bitty knitter, I hope you're still there. Welcome. Cinnamon Girl, you're the best. TP, we are on and getting ready to roll. Besides a little technical difficulties here, we finally got things fixed, and we're just waiting for some people to come in, and it's time to rock and roll. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I don't know if you guys, if anybody heard my beautiful intro that I created. It's my masterpiece. If the intro came on, because I don't know, this kind of freaks out a little bit. If the intro came on before you guys got into the chat, put a 1 in there for me so I know. If somebody could just put a 1 in the chat if they heard that little intro, the music, the trains before the video started. We're on now, folks. We had a little problem. We are on now. Joey boy, what's happening? If you want to pop in, I sent that. We had a little technical. We got 6 people in the house. Good. I'm glad we're back on. We had a little, I don't control this stuff, guys. I do the best I can here. And if there's a little glitch, I love you too, brother. I love you too. That's what I'm talking about. I hope she probably left and I don't blame her. It's a shame we had a new guest in the family tonight. Itty bitty knitter, and she probably bailed, and I don't blame her because we had some technical difficulties. I asked Cinnamon Girl. Intro did not play. So you know what? You guys were cheated. Here we go. That was my masterpiece. What do you guys think? Is that a masterpiece? Is that a masterpiece or what? Cinnamon Girl, thank you. Joey, we're going to get Dave T. All right, now we start to get some people coming in. All right, because we had a little problem. Great intro. Great intro. Yeah, it took a real genius, Cinnamon Girl. Now, if somebody wants to tell me that has knowledge before we get into Dave, I love you, my brother. We had a great time last night, Dave. I feel like I haven't seen your icon, and I know you haven't seen my face. It seems like years, right? It was about 14 hours and 16 hours. Cinnamon Girl watched the video this morning, so even better. We're going to get into it. It's going to get hot and heavy here with football talk. I got some good people going to come onto this panel, I hope, and we're going to get this rolling. If we got 7 in here, I won't hesitate to go. I just want to make sure I welcome everybody. We have a couple of new faces. It bothers me if we lost. She was nice enough to come in, and I feel terrible if she left due to the fact that we had, and I wasn't even aware of it, a glitch. Because one of my other subscribers, Maddie Sweeney, who's really good people, who I was with today, we went and had coffee. He called me and said he had some problems, and then one of my sons and Tony Silo, who's told me he'll be a few minutes late, they were having problems, but now they should be able to get in. So you know what? I'm going to do what I do. Joey, if you're still in the house, Joey C. Joey, if you're still in the house, give me a 1 in the chat. TP, if you're in the house, give me a 1. Anybody, I want to make sure you guys are hearing me and we're having no more issues. So just give me a thumbs up, a 1, anything. I know you're hearing me okay. Thank you. All right. That's good. Good. All right. I want to make sure we got no issues. So the way I like to start a football show, and maybe it's corny to some, and it probably is. And the Cinnamon Girl, and if Nitty Bitty Ida is still here, this is an old classic that I must play. $49 for this washing machine. Right. Small body, but big power. Excellent. And drying. Here we go. Gotta get in it, guys. We gotta get in it. Get ready. Here we go. Here we go. Room is starting to get. We've got a few people in here. Here we go, Joey. Right after this, Dave T. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk some football. We're gonna talk playoff football and outlooks. And as the people come in onto the panel, Dave, if you want me to drop you a link, I'd be more than happy to. Cinnamon Girl, if you want a link, anybody wants a link, you got it. That's about all I know how to do, is drop the link. So, the Cinnamon Girl, like, or anybody knitter, if you're still here, you would hear music like this as a young person playing ball or watch it on TV, and it would make you like really start to want to play the game, get ready to play. So this is an old theme song that takes us back. I know certain people in this room. I guess it's like anything else. Everybody has their own thing, what they do today and what they like to listen to. I was just trying to show you how professional I am and kill time. But again, here we go. I can't hold off no more. I'm just going to give some opinions on what I think about Dave T. I'm doing good, buddy. I don't want to lose anybody here anymore. I can't hold this up until people pop in, so I'm going to just go with it and start talking football. Here we go. Okay, Joey, if you want to chime in at any time, it's all you, bud. If you want to hit that link, I sent it to your messenger. You do it. Dave, if you want a link, Cinnamon Girl, anybody wants a link, you let me know. Whoever's in the house. Okay. The two, in my opinion, and I hope everybody here understands the way I'm speaking. Okay, Dave, you got it. I know you don't know much about Cinnamon Girl. I know you don't much. I know you don't. So I want to try to help you, Dave. But you got to do what you got to do, brother. I appreciate you. Just you check out the replay. Thank you for coming in, man. All the time, Dave. This is your home. You know that. Thank you, Cinnamon Girl. We're going to be doing a show about football tonight, and I know you're here. I wanted to give you a wrench, because I would be honored to have you whenever you can moderate this channel as we grow. If that's something you would like to do or not like to do, if you'd like to do it, could you put a 1 in the box? If you don't want nothing to do with it, I get it. It's all cool. If you can put a 1 in that box, I got to figure out if Cinnamon Girl, if you know how, before we start getting into this, can you tell me how to, good, love it. How do you know how we give these wrenches out? Does anybody know how to give these wrenches out? If you could type it in, they told me next to everybody's name is 3 dots. I'm seeing that, but it says put user in timeout or ban user and delete their comments. That's not something we want to do, right? So how do we give a wrench? If anybody knows how to do that, Cinnamon Girl, it's you. It's yours. Whenever we're on, you could moderate this. Make sure we got no people that are saying crazy things in the show, and that we can't have. That could maybe they'll strike us. They'll say with, there's crazy people out there. Joey, you can't click the link. Hold on, I'm going to send it to you again, Joe. Joe, you want me to send it to your email? If you could put I don't know if you want to put the email. There's nobody in the room. You want to put the email in the room? I'll send it to you right now. Otherwise, I sent it to your messenger. Tonio just told me the same thing. Send it to his email. If you want to text me your email, Joey, on my phone. I don't know, Maddie, why you can't comment. Saying everybody chat in studio comments. Here we go. Joey, if you want to send me that, Cinnamon Girl, you don't know. All right. Yeah, you could start, Cinnamon Girl, feel free if you know how to drop links to the shows that you know that I'm involved with and listen to, drop the links. Drop links for whoever you want to drop links for. Please do me that favor till we get okay, Joe, I'm going to try to send you email right now, bud. Just stay patient, guys. This is going to get rolling. We're going to have a great show. I promise. Stick with me. Optimum. Boy, Joey, this is an old one, though. Joey, I put it back to your messenger because it doesn't take Optimum. I put it back to your messenger. All right, Antonio, thank you. You got my son coming on. We're going to be busy here shortly. We got 9 in the room. Cinnamon Girl. I have to, let me put that up. I have to have a wrench to drop links. If maybe I should have did that before I came on, but the way me and Tommy talked about it, we were saying, hey, my son just put this up. If you guys get a kick out of that, Joey, be patient. See if that new link works, Joe. Merry Christmas, Dave. I love you, bud. Tommy told me to hit those three little dots there, but they're not showing any wrenches. They're just saying, Cinnamon Girl, they're all talking to each other. TP's back in the house. We got 10 people in the house. I'm trying to figure out how to get people, Cinnamon Girl, a wrench. She's going to moderate for us. We're definitely not. What is this star, Cinnamon Girl? You're one of our favorites. That goes without saying. I'm trying to figure out how to get everybody a wrench or certain people a wrench. And We need to get Cinnamon Girl a wrench. Right, Cinnamon Girl? Need to get you a wrench? Yeah, no, I know that. I'm trying to, if I right click it, it doesn't give me a wrench. Like I said, okay, welcome to the stage, Antonio Gatto. Somebody I know. Antonio.
Yo.
All right, listen. I'm trying to get Cinnamon Girl a wrench so she can moderate the chats to make sure nobody puts stupid stuff in the chat that can get us thrown out. They think we're saying dirty things, or you got creepy people out there. You know that.
Yeah.
Now I was told those three dots, right, that are next to the names in the chat. You see that? Like if you look on the screen, you see. I don't know if you see what I'm saying.
No, I'm not logged into my YouTube.
Oh, all right.
I'm about to do it right now, though.
You're a handsome dude. You can show your face.
No, the kids are.
No, but everybody I say that because I'm your father. Actually, you're an ugly bastard. How's that? Everybody, whoever's out there, my son's an ugly bastard. You think? What do you think? Am I right or wrong? Dave, I would never say that. Right or wrong? Yes, you can't do a live button. We tried. We were talking about it. Thank you, Mikey. I appreciate it very much. Tony's a big part of the show. Please come by. We're getting a little off to a little shaky start here. We're trying to live here as we're trying to drop some wrenches for people to moderate this chat. And before we get into our football talk, and Mr. Antonio Gatto. I don't know why your name is not up on the board.
I don't know how to work this.
All right. So you got a lot of people ask for you. I'll put it up. Tell me if you see the chats. Yeah, Dave. So there's one of my sons, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want anybody to think I'm partial to my kids. I'm not. If they gotta, we keep it real here, right, Dave? They're out of order. They're out of order. No. So Joey was just waiting for Joey to pop on, but Tonio, why don't we do this? This is a football show. We can't really hold it up. So why don't we do this? Why don't we start breaking down? If you could do me a favor, Go
ahead.
Tommy, you're still in the house? Tommy, Tonio's in the house. Joey is probably trying to get in.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if they can get in the playoffs and look like this,
go ahead.
They might not play the Cincinnati Bengals, but that is a dangerous.
Yes, that is why, Joey. If I send it to your phone, Joe, it'll probably work. Tonio, do me a favor. Give everybody a rundown, if you can, on who you right now. We know Baltimore, the Ravens.
Nah.
Cleveland. No. I want to give them a rundown of right now who's in the playoff hunt in the AFC.
Well, you have like 4 teams that are 8-7.
Okay. Who might those teams be? We'll go back. We're going to go over it.
Well, out of the AFC, Dolphins, Ravens, Chiefs. Those are the only 3 that I see beating any top team in the NFC. I don't see anybody else in the AFC.
All right. You keep talking because I have many people that are having a hard time. All right, now I can see you here.
I don't see anybody else in the AFC. What, you can't see me?
I don't know why people are having hard time because I pulled it right up. Let me see if I can invite Joey from here. No, I can see you, but I want you to talk football while I try to get some people in here that want to, be on the panel with us.
Or why somebody else is trying to come up?
Yeah, we got Joey C and Tony Silo.
On the StreamYard, can you see the chat?
You're supposed to, yeah.
See, no, I don't see anything, but it is what it is. I guess because I'm not signed up to it.
No, you don't have to be.
All right.
All right. I
Fantasy
just sent
football.
Joey that. Let's see what happens with that.
Who has a fantasy football team? Heavy playoff implications tonight.
All right, let's go right to it. Joey's going to wind up popping on soon. Here we go. Dave, in the AFC, Dave, American Football Conference, who is the team that you – let's leave Baltimore. Antonio, nice to see you. Dave T, Boston Laborers Union wants you to know, Antonio, nice to meet you, pal. 100.
Oh, what's going on?
Tony Silo's boy, can you read that, Toe? What he's saying?
No.
He's saying you got the wrong hat on. Where's that Yankees hat? Well, he's a you know what? He's a big boy. He can speak for himself. Tell him who's your team. Good job, Mikey. Let him have it. Tell him who he likes secondary. Go ahead.
Who? What? Who's my teams?
He wants to know what's with the. You might think you're a Pirate fan.
No, I'm a diehard Yankee fan.
And who do you like in football?
Steelers.
Hence would be the Pirate hat, the P. Back in the 70s, he might not know this. I'm not going to bat for him here, guys. I'll go against them in a minute.
I mean, I have every team hat, so you can't really go based off me. It's a fascist, more fashion.
So, Mikey, it's about one of those young dude. He's a young cat, and it's all about the different hats and the gray brim, the pink brim. I'm learning that game, man. I'm trying to. I don't know why you're not seeing the chat.
I'm gonna see right now. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna try to.
And I'm trying to figure out how to get my friend here.
I'm on my MacBook, so it shouldn't really.
Cinnamon, I'm gonna try to get it through you from my phone. The wrench.
Where's the chat? All right. Here we go. I have to run for
I'm trying to get Cinnamon Girl.
Son's a big sport fan. Welcome to live chat. More. Okay.
So keep us moving so nobody bails in. Ad lib, baby. I used to be good at it.
Do you still do fantasy football? Does anyone do fantasy football?
You see, I hit the three buttons again. And even on the phone, it doesn't come up.
Exit out of one of them.
Yeah, no, I'm going to shut it off. I hit those three buttons again to give them a wrench. Tommy's saying it's an adjustable wrench. No, Tommy, what it is everybody who sub to us, we give them a wrench. This way, if any trolls come in here and start talking crazy, stupid, I'll just say sexual shit or crazy kid shit. We can't have that in here. They got to go. So if I'm in the gulf of the conversation and I don't see it, you guys get rid of them. Flush them right down the fucking bowls. I'm sorry. I don't mean to curse. Cinnamon Girl. Look at Cinnamon Girl. Look how she got our back. Look at Cinnamon Girl. Cinnamon Girl, I get told this all the time. Thank you. You see why I need you here? Hit the like, please. Even though this has been a haberdashery up to this point. But you know what? We're having fun anyway. Dave, I'm glad you didn't. All right. Here we go. Dave is starting. So here we go. I like it, Dave. Way to get it off, Davey. I have to root for the Dolphins right now, Craig. My son's a big fan. So supporting him. My team, Chicago, don't have a prayer this year. All right, Tokyo, you comment first on that, then I'll give a little thought on that. How's that? Good job, Dave.
What? Comment on the Dolphins or the Browns?
Yeah, he's a Bears fan, but he knows they're not going nowhere. But he's got to root for the Dolphins because his son's a big Dolphin fan.
I mean,
ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage, Mr. Anthony Silo. Tony, welcome aboard.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Yo,
What up, Ton?
what up, babe?
Nothing much, man. How you doing?
Same old stuff.
How's the baby?
Tony, thank you for sending Mikey.
Getting big, man.
Mikey, StreamYard doesn't have that option. So how do I get somebody a wrench? Tony, do you know how I give anybody a wrench? I'm trying to get Cinnamon Girl, who is so nice enough. She's telling people like, subscribe.
I'm not sure how to do it from this one because your StreamYard's a little different than the StreamYard I had. I just had to upload a new avatar. See, when I go on another guy's show, I don't have to upload no more. So we're going to have to figure it out. But if any guys want a wrench, we'll tell Tone, just grab it, in your hand tight and put it right over their head.
Yeah, no. All right, so let's get back to Dave. Dave T was so nice, and he's got to run. Dave T said that his son's a Dolphin fan, so he's going to root for them, but he's a Bears fan, and like us Steeler fans, it's going to be no playoffs, and we don't deserve to be the Bears even worse than us, which is horrific. I actually, Dave, believe, and I love you, Davey, but I believe I can get a bunch of 17-year-olds together, and we might be able to. Now, let's be real. They're just a very badly coached team from the top of the organization down, and the Bears have been that way for years now. Years. There's not a GM or a coach lasts more than 2 years, probably for the last 10 years. You know this. So I know a little bit about the game. My son knows a little bit. Tony knows the game. Joey Callahan knows the game. Tommy knows the game. We got plenty of people in here that know this game inside out, study this game, and coming to the stage. A dear friend of mine, ladies and gentlemen, always wanted to do this. Oh, let's everybody rumble. Joe Callahan. Go ahead, Joe.
What's up, folks? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen?
You just
What's
do it
up,
like
Joe?
this. What team in the
Let's do the AFC first.
No, hold on. What team in the AFC coming out of the AFC is beating Philly, Cowboys, or the 49ers?
Right now?
I'll tell you what, I could answer it, but I won't. I'll let my guys that are right below you do that. As a matter of fact, they're going to say there's favoritism here. So I'm going to figure out how to move this shit around because they're going to say, I know I'm going to hear it. Joey's going to tell me, you see how you had your son next to you? You treat us. No, he ain't going to go for it. I can't have that.
No, I would never say that.
No, but I will. I just said.
All right, Tone, what's the question, Tone?
I know Joey's going to have a good answer for that.
What team out of the AFC right now walk in
and beat Philly?
San Francisco, Philly, or Dallas? And beat
Okay, you ready?
I'm going to give you a sleeper. Go ahead, Tony. And then Joey's going to come up with one. I know it. I think me and Joey might agree. Go ahead, Tony.
I'm going to tell you two teams it definitely isn't right now.
And before you say those two teams, I personally think the Dolphins and the Chiefs. The Chiefs because of the Patrick Mahomes factor with the rep. It's crazy.
Listen, I'm going to butt in here. I can tell this is. I know it's not your first time on camera, but as you can see, I'm a regular. And so I know you were a little nervous because the two teams you just gave me are fucking horrific, and they won't win a single playoff game.
No way.
You're out of your mind, Craig. I'm with Tony.
I'm out of my mind, but I'm going to give you the team, Joey, and I'm going to tell you right now, Buffalo is the team to watch. Hold on.
I think
watch Buffalo, Joe.
I think Kansas City is one. I agree with Antonio and Tony.
I know it.
Hold on.
Right here.
In the playoffs, we know it's the team that's hot, right place, right time. The hot team gets fucking hot at the right time,
Always.
and away we go. That's one. Two, Buffalo. To me, it's just my opinion. It means absolutely nothing.
Garbage.
Buffalo. If they start to play the way they're capable and run the football like they have,
that's what they've been doing.
To me, I think they can compete with anybody in both conferences. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion.
If they get James Cook going in the passing game and the running game, then they're a different team. But if they don't, then no.
Agreed. I agree
but here's
with that.
the problem.
And I'll tell you what. I'll just say one thing on James Cook. If you put him, and this is again just from watching the game. So when you put him out wide, or you fucking send him out of the backfield, there isn't a linebacker that's going to cover him. He's a problem for a lot of teams. Now you put a healthy Diggs. You got the other kid, Gabriel, or whatever his name is.
Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis. You got. Listen, they got enough weapons on offense. Not to mention Josh Allen, right? So we know that they can score in bunches. And in the AFC, I'll be honest. I think the Dolphins are gonna. I know they're hot. They're fucking hot as a pistol right now. The Dolphins are gonna have to show me. Like again, you beat the Jets, big fucking deal. You beat some fucking quality teams. Go to Buffalo, or in the playoffs. Go to Baltimore.
Wait a minute. Time out. They don't have to go to Buffalo. Buffalo has to go to them.
Right, Tony, you're right. But let's just say, for argument's sake, they lose this weekend to the Cowboys, and then they lose the last weekend. That might change a little bit, right? I mean, in the sense that Baltimore gets the 1 seed. I don't know. I'm not an expert per se, but
I don't like Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
you're damn right. You're not an expert.
I don't either. But
after last night, I'm not. I'm talking to you.
Lamar Jackson's never had a number one, and he's never had receivers that run fast. No, he's never had receivers that ran more faster than a 4.4.
Listen,
okay, but Tone.
I'm getting so crazy. Listen, I'm getting so crazy. I got the mic in my hand. I'm ready to go nuts here. Listen,
wait a minute. Lamar Jackson.
That guy hasn't won a playoff game yet. It's something personal. Has he?
Right.
What has he done in the playoffs?
Nothing.
He's got weapons now. I agree.
Okay, but
Don't sleep on Lamar Jackson
with weapons?
Can't throw outside the numbers. Can't throw outside the numbers. Can't throw outside the numbers down the field.
Right.
Bingo.
Right.
Joey,
What's KC got? What's KC got
No, you're right.
Travis
You're
Kelce
100%
right now?
right.
The Ravens are more dangerous than the Chiefs.
Tony's saying something about Kansas City.
What
You
does
got
the Chiefs
three-
got?
You have three.
Tony, I'm sorry. He's out of control. Hit him.
You got three official running backs. Keaton Mitchell came out of nowhere. It's the system. The same reason why
I never seen it. I understand what you're
in San
saying.
Francisco is the same reason why.
I understand what you're saying with Kansas City, but I never seen receivers drop more passes than that team.
That kid Rashee Rice is good.
Let me
not
ask
saying
you
he's
this.
They're
Let
not
me
ready
ask you
this
this.
year. They're not ready
We
this
all
year.
know, I think we can all agree that playoff football is a different game, right? We know that it's not going to be wide open. It's not going to be the Chargers
Come
of
on,
the
T,
80s
let me know. I'll send anybody a link.
where it's, 41-38. Can there be? Yes, 100%. There could be a wild card game. There could be a fucking division playoff game. Yes. More times than not, you're not going to see a fucking shootout, right? So for me, the Dolphins are going to have to show me that 2017 fucking game.
Yeah, I don't think they can win a game outdoors in the cold. That's number one. I think two.
I
But wait
don't
a
know if
minute.
you can.
They don't
I mean,
have
Tony
to
makes
go
a good
outdoors.
point. It might not have to travel.
don't have
might
to.
not have to travel.
Everyone's coming.
Right.
Everyone's going to be in Club Live.
Miami,
Right, okay.
Remember I said this. Look, I got the mic in my hand, ladies and gentlemen.
Where's the Super Bowl,
Miami
Craig?
playing at
Where's
one
the
point
Super Bowl?
in
Indoors.
In January. They will lose by 30. Ladies and gentlemen, Tua will be knocked out early in that game because he's on the floor most of the time.
Tony, let me ask you this. You made a statement about Lamar Jackson not winning a playoff game, right? And it's fair. That's an accurate statement. But how many playoff games has Tua won?
He hasn't been in any yet.
Exactly. So we're putting all our eggs. Tyreek Hill and
No. Time out.
Great one, Dave T.
Time out
Yeah.
a second.
I'm just moderating this shit.
This is a question on who's going to get to the
Cinnamon
NFC.
Girl, thank you so
Oh,
much.
We
yeah,
didn't
no.
say we didn't
They
say
said I
who's
gotta
going to
do it,
win.
Cinnamon Girl.
I got
Right.
the Niners. I got
Right.
the Niners.
I'm
So
with
for the
you.
next time,
100%. I don't know anybody that's going to beat the
The thing
Niners.
about
Thank you so much. And just if you want to, please stick around.
The thing about the Niners is that if you look at the three
Matty
games
Sweeney, you in the house?
Purdy struggled in, he had to throw the ball. He had to win the game, and they lost all three games. So if they put them in a position where Christian McCaffrey isn't going for 45 fantasy points, Brandon Ayuk isn't going for 120 yards.
Tony, can I handle this, please?
Oh, Tone, your voice ain't coming through, Tonio.
Me?
Yeah, now you are.
All right,
It was
can I
cracking up.
handle that
Oh.
statement my son just made?
Hold on. So
Yeah, I'm gonna let you hold on, all right?
if Brock Purdy has to win the game,
Joey, I'm
gonna
gonna smack
lose.
him, Joey.
They're going to lose that game because he's nothing but a game manager.
You're
That's what
awesome,
he
Cinnamon
is.
Girl. You were
Yeah, but
highly
you know
recommended
what?
by Tony Silo.
Right. I agree with that. I agree with
Cinnamon
that
Girl.
statement. But my thing is, Tonio, I'm trying to figure out, because the question was asked about who
Oh,
in
wait,
the
look,
AFC.
Hold
who
on,
in
guys.
the
I gotta say
AFC
something.
could give
Dave
them-
from Boston says he's throwing a flag for unsportsmanlike conduct on one of us. I don't know who. Dave, is it on me, my son, Joey, or Silo? It's probably on me. My whole life, I always got the flags anyway. I don't give a fuck. That's where that goes back to Joey saying I wasn't a team player. Oh boy, I just played into that.
Joe, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead,
Tonio,
Tony. Go ahead.
Tonio, answer this question for me. Who do you got coming out of the NFC? Forget about the
NFC?
playoffs. Out of the NFC.
I think there's three powerhouses, and then everyone else is regular. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the fact that the Eagles haven't had a past good 3 weeks and blah 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 blah. Let that defense start rolling.
All right, hold on a second. I'll make it a little easier for you. Now, Craig, you know I have a friend who knows a lot of people in the Eagles. I think you know that Jalen Hurts is hurt pretty bad.
Right.
He's 100% hurt.
You know, bad, worse than they're letting on. I know somebody who knows him personally. But here's the problem. I don't think what you got to factor in today's athlete is you need a game plan and a coach who can get them through the game. Me and your father were just talking about this on the phone.
Sirianni's not that guy.
I think he's done a good job.
And I don't think Mike McCarthy's got too much pressure on him from upstairs at all times. I like Shanahan. I like Shanahan with the 49ers because
Shanahan's
he's got
a genius.
Can't win. Well,
And
Shanahan hasn't won a big game. They blew the game with Atlanta when they were up 25-3 or 28-3, whatever it was. And when he's the offensive coordinator, he's throwing the ball in the fourth quarter when you should be running it. They blew the game.
Yeah, but you
Frisco
got to
as
hold
team
on a
speed.
second. He also
No, I'm
had
not just saying he's a
Garoppolo.
great coach. I think McVay's better. Go ahead.
Yeah, but if he would have had a quarterback, a real quarterback, when they
I
played
get it.
the
Yeah,
Chiefs,
Jimmy Garoppolo.
they
I
win
get
the
it.
Super Bowl.
1 second.
He was afraid to throw the ball. He was really afraid to throw a ball.
Joey, what do you say about that, Joey?
About what?
He's saying that.
Garoppolo.
And I like Kyle Shanahan. I love his system. You know, I love teams that pound the rock. What I'm saying is, what do you think of Shanahan? You think he's got maybe a little overrated until he wins the Super Bowl? Everybody's got him as
No,
the
I
greatest.
think he's a legit coach. I think he's a legit coach. And for me, this year, especially with the weapons he has with Debo and Ayuk and McCaffrey and the tight end there, the defense is loaded. Let's be honest. I mean, yes, Purdy plays
Definitely, Dave.
in the system, and Antonio's 100% right. If you put it on his shoulders, you're in big trouble. But I don't see anybody coming out of the NFC to beat them. The road to the Super Bowl goes through San Francisco, and for
100%.
me, that goes for both conferences.
Okay,
right?
I agree with that.
Wait a minute. Let me say one thing. They went to Philly and beat their ass in Philly.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
The next week they play the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Beat their ass.
Exactly.
What kind of mental shit that puts in your head before you go back to an NFC championship game with that
100%.
team?
And
you're already a quarter up.
Yeah, and they're firing on all cylinders. The defense is getting after the quarterback. You're not moving the ball. I mean, what they did to Philly was just that was an ass whooping. Period.
And Joe, you know what I think's a big acquisition that ain't showed up yet? Chase Young, because once him and Bosa come together and figure out how to, it's over. It's
forget
over.
about it. 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. The only thing that scares me with them is they're weak. They're weak in the secondary. My opinion. They're weak in the secondary, and they can be had. But again, who's gonna get to them? Philly. Well, look what they did to Philly. I mean, just look.
But they physically beat them up too.
They beat the shit out of them. They did. They really did. I mean,
and the coach for Philly, for Philly is not made for this right now.
No, not at all. I'm with you on that. And again, who's their backup? I mean, you got who's Philly's backup now?
I'm not even sure.
Who is it?
I'm not sure.
It's the kid that came out. The other kid from Hawaii. What the hell's his name?
Gino
Mariota.
Mariota.
So again, imagine going into a game with Mariota as your starter. I don't care who you got as your wide receiver. There's a reason that the kid is not in Tennessee anymore, right? I mean,
Okay,
let's be
but you
let's
made
be
a
honest.
statement. You made a statement before. Well, because he had concussion problems. He
Yes.
couldn't even find his way to the bathroom half the
Correct.
time.
Correct.
His
Love
last
you,
year. That's the
baby.
truth. But let
Good
me ask you a
stuff coming,
question.
baby. Thank you
Go
for
ahead.
coming.
You know and I know it gets a lot more physical in the playoffs.
Mariota.
Correct?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think
Okay.
we're
Thank
going
you,
to see
Dave, so
Tony. What I'm trying to say is the days of seeing the high flying Chargers and the Dan Marino Dolphins, those days are long gone in the playoffs. Gone.
Okay, but how do you put Jalen Hurts in that sneak position every time in the playoffs when they're gearing up and they have time to prep for
Yeah.
that team?
Yeah.
He's going to get hurt if you
Of
do
course
that
he
to
is.
him.
Of course he is. Of course he is. And
Now,
again,
but I will say one thing:
That's
if the
right. Merry Christmas, Dave.
Dolphins' offense is working on all cylinders, you got to be careful with them.
yeah, you're right. Only thing again with me, Tony, I'm not impressed by their defense. I'm not. I mean, I know, again, the AFC is weak. I think we could all be honest about that, with the exception of the Bills. The AFC East is garbage. The NFC Central is garbage.
Mikey, I'm kind of leaning with you. right now.
The injury to Joe Burrow comes in awesome.
Tony,
100%.
Tony, I just want to tell you, you and Joey, Mikey, Tony, who you sent here, who's now part of the family here, your buddy Mikey said Tony sent him. He put up on the screen, he likes San Francisco, Buffalo, Super Bowl. Now, some would say San Francisco's not a stretch. You still got to win the games. I get it. I like Frisco representing the NFC.
I'll tell you what.
Only because I don't think anybody could beat them on the road. I like Detroit to be a sleeper. I don't know how they're going to play on the road, but so I'll stay with Frisco. Buffalo, I think, is that sleeper team that can go on the road, and because of the style of the play that they're starting to play now,
Yep, agreed.
they can beat you with like the old Parcells theory. They'll hold the ball for 9 minutes, let Josh do his thing. He's only throwing the ball 15 to 20 times a game.
Yep.
Buffalo loses tonight. You can put them to sleep permanently. I mean, Buffalo's got to pretty much win out.
Tommy Stiggs in the house. Thank you, Tommy. We're having a good time here arguing about football.
I think Buffalo pretty much has got to win out from here on in. I don't think they got a shot to lose another game, or they're done.
All good, Benny. Benny, we're talking about Tonio's back and forth too. Who's going to represent who? Benny, you got anything you want to put in the chat? Who you like? We got so far a lot of people are saying Buffalo could be a sleeper. There's not really a disagreement with that, right?
The sad part is it looks like you're gonna have a 7-win team in the playoffs, and it's embarrassing.
Well, what about in the NFC East a couple of years ago? The 500 team won the division.
Yeah, very true, Tony. Very, very true. It's again, and there's so many teams that are right on the cusp. The Cincinnati's, the Steelers, the Browns.
Don't even mention that name.
Again, somebody's got to win the division. And again, we just we look at things with tunnel vision, and we're like, there's no way that the Browns could fucking beat the Chiefs. I'm just saying, just an example, right?
What's up, my brother?
Anything is possible. We know that in this life, anything is possible. I think that's fair to say. So, anybody could beat anybody. It's definitely possible. But for me, the sleeper in the AFC would be Buffalo right now. And if they win tonight, then watch out.
All right, let's look at something here. They got the Dolphins.
Benny thinks the Lions could be a sleeper, not his Colts. He's a big Colts fan.
All right, but hold on a second. They got the Chargers tonight in Chargers. That's not going to be as easy as people think.
Okay, no Keenan Allen, though.
Yeah, but the Chargers still got Khalil Mack there. They still got the other Bosa there. They still got a couple of guys on defense. Josh Allen's got to watch it.
Khalil Mack right? Isn't Khalil Mack right with T.J. Watt with sacks? He's right there.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's right there. So he's having a big year, and they're playing well. I love Derwin James. I think I was expecting a little bit more. I would say he's underwhelmed a little bit just because of injuries. So availability is accountability in the game.
But next week they got the Patriots.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
that
Who?
should be an easy win. The Bills.
It should be, yes.
All right.
How's their
What-
linebackers, Joey?
Who, the Bills?
Yeah. How are they defensively? Where's their weak? The defensive line?
They haven't had on the defensive side of the ball. They haven't had a great year. You know.
And they're soft secondary wise. They're not.
Yes, correct. You know, so I'd say
100%.
their weak link is the back half. The front
So
seven.
it goes back to what I said. They got to beat you with ball control.
Right.
All right, but here's the problem. Let's go
They got
to
to
the
limit
last game.
possessions.
But let's go to the last game of the year. They play the Dolphins at the
Indu,
Dolphins.
thank you so much, brother.
All right.
Let
The
Vito know I
teams
send
that-
my best.
If the Bills could get in and they don't beat the Dolphins, we'll say you got to go to Baltimore right away. I think Lamar Jackson can win one game, and I don't
Okay.
think Josh Allen's got a great head. Look
So
what he
let's,
did. Josh Allen's head killed their season a couple of years ago. Last
Oh.
year, was it?
let's assume Baltimore gets home field, right? They still would have to win 2 games at home, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just shoot 2 random teams out. Let's say, for argument's sake, I'm just going to bring this up just to create a good one here.
Yeah.
I'll give you one team that I could beat, that I think can beat Baltimore in one game in Baltimore, and it's not Buffalo or Kansas City.
2-0
Miami.
Rangers.
And it's not Miami. You're going to tell me I'm fucking nuts? I know nothing about the game.
Are you talking
The
about
Cleveland Browns.
I was going to
And
say
I
the
know they
Browns.
suck quarterback-wise, but they're
I
doing what it takes.
just told you that. How
Division
nice
game.
would it be for Joe Flacco to go there and beat
He's
them
throwing
in
the
their
ball all over the yard,
Well,
and
wait
they
a
play
minute. You know
great
what?
defense, and they run the ball down your throat.
Yeah.
He also knows how to control a game.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco.
I mean, it would shock. Now Benny's putting up the Colts. Let's tell Benny why the Colts won't do anything. You guys want to break the news to him?
Yeah, because they're jinxed. They suck. No, I just don't like the Colts. I
They're
don't
a
think
couple.
the-
They're a couple of drafts away. You think from
I think
putting
they-
something together?
I
there?
think-
You like to just
No, I
stand?
think the
Garbage
Colts.
this
I
year.
think the Colts are about 2 years away because
Yeah.
the quarterback of the future is in the Colts. That
Yeah.
kid's good.
Joey, what do you think about the Colts?
I think they're weak, and I agree with Tony about 2 years. I mean, listen, if their quarterback don't go down and Jonathan Taylor, plays the whole year healthy, they got some decent receivers. On the defense, they don't impress me. But I agree with Tony 100%. I'd say probably at least 2 years away.
All
And
right, Benny.
I'll tell you something else, and you're all gonna think I'm crazy. Houston
Go ahead.
has, I think, 5 number ones in the next 2 years, and
Right.
7 in the next 3 years.
Right.
With-
Now, here's the
with
thing
all
about
that said.
Houston. Houston's
That kid
quarterback
Stroud is
is
good.
out this weekend. Now, that's
Forget about it, Joe.
that's a-
Next year,
Yeah.
and the year after.
No, I'm just saying though. For playoff implications, if Houston wins 2 games, they're right there too.
All
How
right.
long is
I
Stroud
think
out
we
for?
can officially put the Bengals out of the playoffs after losing to the Steelers, correct?
I think.
Yeah,
so.
I said it last week. The quarterback had one more win in him. He got it last week. You can't beat the Steelers at
Yep.
home.
Yep.
You're not going nowhere.
All right,
You're done.
Benny is saying he guarantees us that the Colts will win at least one shocking playoff game. So I'm trying to figure out, it'll be a road game. There'll be the one, because unless they win the division, right? Are they going to beat Jacksonville for the division? Because Jacksonville's been playing like shit lately, right?
Yeah.
The Colts win that division.
Yep.
Let me
and
look
the
at this
And that would
quarterback,
give them a home game.
Lawrence is banged up. He's in concussion protocol, right?
Yes.
Right. So you might have a team like the Cleveland Browns. If the Colts win that division, the Cleveland Browns going to Indianapolis to play a game in Indianapolis in the
Right.
first round.
And you
I'm-
think
I'm just
about
throwing
when you
names
think
out right
about
now.
Jacksonville, that kid's got no talk about being left in the wind by himself. That kid's got no weapons. They have nobody that scares anybody in Jacksonville.
Who, Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah.
No, nothing. Zero.
I mean, with the outside of their running back is pretty good. Their tight end is Ingram. He's pretty good. Outside of that, you got nothing. He's got nothing. He's got
Mikey, I
nobody
like
that
that
scares
point you
anybody.
made, buddy.
Hey, Joe, today.
Zay Jones
Mikey,
can't
you
catch
know
a cold.
football. You're gonna love all my draft shit. You're gonna love the draft shit stuff.
All right, but wait a minute, Joe. The Steelers are now 8-7.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Listen to me, Tony. Please, I'm a diehard Steeler fan. You guys all know this. The
Well, I'm trying to
fucking
figure
worst thing
something
that
out
could
here.
happen is letting this fucking team forget the playoffs. Going into today, even if they won all 3 games, they have a 12% chance. They need everybody's got to fucking now. We can say yeah, this has happened before. 12% chance, even if they win out. They got Seattle next week and Baltimore to finish the year. Now some say, oh, Seattle, they're gonna beat Seattle. They're gonna get fucking hammered by Seattle. And Baltimore, even if they sit some players, I hope Harbaugh has learned his lesson on not to do that. Play your players because they're going to get a week off. The worst thing you could do is sit everybody and then give them 2 weeks off, and that's why they come out flat a lot of times and lose in the first round. I could be wrong. That's just my theory. You want to play with 3 quarters, different story. I don't think even if Pittsburgh wins out, they're not in the playoffs, and they're still fucking 2 drafts
All right,
away
hold on
and a
a
coach
second.
away.
Benny, I'm gonna say something for Benny to be happy here. If the Colts, they're 8-6. If they
Tony,
win
you're
the
very low.
hold on, let me put the volume up.
Let me see if I can mess with the volume here. Joey,
Can you hear me better? Because I'm on a full blast. No.
I hear you, Tony. I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
it's me.
Craig.
I,
I hear Craig.
I don't clean my ears. Go ahead.
All right, the
Got it.
Colts win the conference record tiebreaker over the Bills and head-to-head tiebreaker over the Texans.
Right.
So maybe Benny's not that out of his mind to
Right.
get them in there.
TT, thank you for coming in, TT.
Right.
What's up, sweetie? How are you, TT? She's such a lovely woman.
Can
I have to
everybody
say
give
that
TT
right
a
away.
warm welcome here from the Reality Report?
TT is the nicest lady on
Thank you,
YouTube, and
TT.
that is, I know a lot of people.
Cinnamon
on
Girl
YouTube.
still here, or she got tired of the football talk? We love Cinnamon Girl.
she's here somewhere.
TT, thank you so much.
So the Colts actually have a good shot with their wins inside the division, the whole
Right.
conference.
Right.
All right. The Bengals, what do they got? They win a
Benny,
head-to-head
did you take
tiebreak.
that back?
You know that the Bengals have the head-to-head tie. They're the only team to have a head-to-head tiebreaker over the Colts and Bills.
Right.
Love
All right.
it, bro.
So
Being
how
there,
many
my
teams
man.
get in? 8.
Yeah.
Okay, you got 8 going in. If the Bills lose tonight, the Steelers jump the Bills. Now,
Okay, that's fine.
But Craig, wait a minute.
They still have a
I under-
9% chance. They got to win out. And they
All right,
still,
forget about
they need
Craig.
so much help.
Craig, what was Donald Trump's last time percentage to beat Hillary Clinton?
0.
There you go. All right, so let's
What'd
not
he
worry
say?
about that.
0.
0.
What's
0.
that?
Trump over Clinton. 0. Nobody picked that.
That was the chances of him winning, and he shocked
True.
the world.
I get
All
you.
right, so
Look, if we
here's
want to
what
say
I'm trying-
Pittsburgh's going to sneak in, all right,
No,
great.
no, I'm telling you why I think you're making a mistake saying rebuild it now. They still only dropped 3 or 4 draft picks. It's the same players involved.
Yeah. The
Well,
only thing with
So does that go
Pittsburgh,
back to my
Tony,
theory that we'll say for another day that this guy should have been fired fucking 7 years ago? Because they've been paid for
Absolutely.
7 years?
Because even if they get in, even if they don't get in, they'll be like 9th because the other teams are going to knock each other out.
Right,
So I'd
just
rather have
enough.
my team in.
Right,
I'd
just
rather have-
enough for him to keep that 9-8 record, and again he goes over 500. But guess what?
I don't think
They're
he's the coach
8-8,
next year.
right, or 7-7 after today. They're not beating Seattle and Baltimore.
They might beat Seattle, and they
Maybe.
always play Baltimore tough.
Okay, right. Anything can happen in a division game. I get it. I'm so like tired of that team, and it's for a lot of reasons. And I'm a Steelers fan.
But you know what? You know what you're
change
doing,
is needed.
Craig. You know what you're doing? You're talking too much from the heart. Let's figure
No.
this out. about the
I'm
heart.
talking out of football sense. That
I-
locker room is a cancer. The whole locker room, the wide receiver room is a disaster.
Well,
And he's
since
allowed
that,
it. Let's
since that
think
kid
about how
Brown
far
was
back
there.
it goes, the problems.
Because
Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, cancer.
Antonio Brown destroyed Mike Tomlin's reputation as a hard ass with that
Yeah, great
Facebook
play,
video.
but cancer.
I
He was great.
actually,
First 8 years, he was a model citizen.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you the same thing that you guys are saying, and I'm looking at everything right now. The Browns make a lot of sense to win a game.
I just think they run the ball well. Jim Schwartz is a great defensive coordinator that schemes well against any OC. And they have what it takes fundamentally. They run the ball down your throat. They only throw, they keep you guessing. They stay ahead of the chains. The only way you beat them, and they're beatable, but you got to put them in dominant passing situations. That's how you beat them. But they somehow stay out of these situations because they got 2 or 3 guys that can run the ball. They got a great
But I will
offensive
say
line
this.
and
I
a
will
great
say
defense.
this. I will say
Best
this.
secondary in football.
I will say this with Benny's
And I
prediction.
hate the Browns.
The Colts have a lot of innuendos here to put them in a driver's seat here if they can win a road game, Benny. There's a lot of games.
Benny's saying he took a bet, I think, what do they call that, a prop bet? He took the Lions at 1,000 to 1 before the season started to go to win the Super Bowl.
When the Lions lost, I think, to the Bears or the Packers a couple when did
Let
they
me
lose?
ask you this, Tony and Craig and Antonio. Let me ask you this. Do you think that the Rams, let's just say it plays out, do you think that the Rams can go into Detroit and win?
Yes.
Okay, I agree with that. And I think Stafford would love nothing better than to stick it to Goff.
And I think he's, and you know what? I don't want to sound like I'm this big rah-rah guy, but let's face it, this was supposed to be a huge rebuilding year for the Rams. And this
100%.
just shows what a great coach Sean McVay is.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. That when they swapped quarterbacks, they swapped a lot of draft picks too. If this
Sure did. They sure
if this
did.
kid in Detroit can beat the Rams and
Think
God
about it.
forbid,
Stafford
them
can
to
throw the ball against anybody. They got weapons everywhere.
And
All
they're
over the
physical.
field, wide
They
receivers.
tell you
are
what.
physical. They're a physical team.
And they play hard. They all run to the ball. They play a team game.
And I got news and talk about weapons. I mean, the tight end Laporta, great.
Agreed, Mikey.
Brown, great. Yeah, I mean, they got a lot of weapons.
And I hate them, Mike.
Yeah, and they play. I mean, listen, they're a physical team. Their defense, they can be had. I mean, again, I agree with Antonio, and everybody else. It's going to be tough to go to San Francisco and beat them on their own field.
all right, let me swap this around for a minute. Let's say that somehow the Lions get the number 1 overall. That's a different ball game there. They're only
Agreed.
one game.
Yeah.
They're only one game behind the 49ers.
Agreed. I agree with you there. Especially indoors.
Now they got a lead. They also have the conference where if it's a tiebreaker, they jump the 49ers. I'm reading this right now off of Google, so I didn't know this before.
Right.
The Cowboys have the hardest shot out of the top 3.
100%.
They've lost
Let me
all
ask
these
you this:
guys.
do you think that the Cowboys will beat the Dolphins tomorrow?
No.
Do you think it'll be a shootout?
Wait, I got to change my mind for a second. How healthy is Tyreek Hill?
That's a good question. My understanding is he's been practicing. He's not going to be. He won't miss the game. But again,
okay. But here's the thing. Joe. I'm sorry. If the Bills somehow lose tonight,
I think TT's right. Buffalo, big sleeper.
You don't need Tyreek Hill tomorrow.
Right.
Who are the Dolphins playing tomorrow?
The Cowboys. Your team.
And that's that that game has playoff implications seeding wise on both sides, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But let me see something in this AFC now, because now I'm trying to pick it apart by this way. The Dolphins are second. They're at 10-4. All right. The Jaguars, I don't know if this quarterback could help them out anymore if he's that screwed up in the head with this injury.
Yep.
I like the Browns staying where they are and winning a road game in the playoffs. I think the Bengals go way back after today.
Yeah, they're done.
I think they're gone.
I think
Well,
I agree.
they lost Burrow, they were done.
Yep.
But I want to say something. I want to ask you guys a question. It's more of a question
Go ahead.
that I believe I have an answer to it, but I want to ask it to you guys. Let me ask you guys a question. You take the Cleveland Browns, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Steelers fan. Hate the Browns, right? But you got to say it for what it is. They play the game that's made for playoff football. But what I'm going to say is this. What I'm going to say is this. Miami somehow plays Cleveland. I'm just using that as an example.
That's
Cleveland
a bad matchup.
has what it
That's a bad
takes
matchup.
to beat Miami
I think they got
from
a
a
better shot at
schematic
beat.
standpoint.
I think they can
Yes
beat
or no?
Kansas. I think they beat Kansas City easier than Miami.
I agree.
Okay. And I'm going to go on record right now, 5 weeks before the playoffs start, and I'm going to say this. I don't dislike him. I think Miami's prolific. I think Tua's on the ground too much. I think he's frail. I think he gets hit way too much, and he will not last.
I agree with TT. I think the Dolphins are going to sizzle out. I do.
I'll tell you what.
If you don't have
But Joe,
a healthy Tyreek Hill, if you're gonna rely on Waddle, you're in big trouble. I got news for you.
But wait a second. Did you see the third string wide receiver? I don't even know his name. I seen them at practice. I went to watch one of the practices.
The Dolphins?
The third string wide receiver is the fastest man in the NFL, faster than Tyreek Hill. And he can catch. But you can't play 3 all the time. That's the problem there.
That's true.
So now if you know, after what you know, this kid has gotten 70%, and I'm reading this right from Dolphins News Report, 70% of the plays directed at him in the passing part of practice in the last 2 weeks. This kid's fast. Faster than Tyreek Hill.
Wow.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I'll find out. Give me 1 second.
Wow.
Antonio said he'll be right back on. He'll tell us who it is. I know he knows who it is.
Hold on a second. I get it for you.
He wants you guys to know he didn't bail out. It's just that my granddaughter's going wild right now.
Whatchamacallit? They said Tyreek Hill himself say, and I watch his podcast all the time. Braxton Berrios.
He came out of Miami. The Jets didn't know what to do with him for 5 years.
Here it is right here. Beat Tyreek Hill in 3 consecutive 100.
Yeah, he can run. He can't run routes, though.
Yeah, but it's a good weapon. It's a good weapon.
I'm not saying that to come at you, Tone. I'm just saying maybe the Jets used it wrong.
I think Tony's trying to say is a good weapon to have the stretch to field.
Absolutely. Take the top of the defense. You got to respect them. So if you put both of them on the field at the same time.
How about, again, the only thing that's scary there is, like Tony said, and he made a very good point. You can't constantly play 3 wide receiver sets. You're going to get Tua killed. He's going to get crulled. Against a halfway decent defense, maybe Baltimore, maybe Cleveland.
I'm curious. Does Miami even use a tight end?
I think they do. Yeah.
No, in the passing game.
Yeah, they do. Very limited, but they do.
I know they got rid of a good one in Jasicki. But anyway, I don't even want to get into that.
All right, but let's put it like this. Remember when Tyreek Hill was on the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Okay. You could have sent him long on every play and took 2 players out of the game. You could have took 2 players out of off the defensive side of the ball right away because you had to keep 2 guys on him. You're going to just send this kid Berrios down the field, and you're already eliminating a defender to go over the middle or run. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at what you got with these guys. I mean, every team fades out a little bit, but everybody's failing to realize they lost to Tennessee. Tyreek Hill didn't play in the first half after that injury in the first series. He came in for 1 quarter. They tied the game immediately. You know, so I'm not no big Dolphin fan just because I live here, but I'm going to say it like this. They can play, and this guy is he's like a Shanahan when it comes to coaching. He's a genius, this kid. He's smart.
The guy with Miami?
The kid with Miami does know how to coach a team, and he gets along. But the one thing I want to get back to real quick, Cleveland. Remember everybody said you had to go around Taylor and Derek Thomas when he was with the Chiefs to figure the game out. Myles Garrett is probably one of the most underestimated defensive players in the NFL.
He's one of the best players in the game, no doubt.
Don't let him get hot in 1 playoff game on the road.
I agree. It's a phenomenal play. You need to double and chip him, maybe even sometimes with a 30. He beats double teams daily. That's why they're so good, because it's not just him. You got all of a sudden this other guy coming off the other edge now in Cleveland. Is it Clowney or having a good year, or is it Darius Smith? One of them guys are there. So now you got Smith. 2 guys blocked, and they're stout in the middle, and they have the best secondary in football. They can play you man all day across the field and lock you down.
and that's why they got a shot. But here's the other thing: we are looking at a team.
And I'm not
with
a,
40
I don't want to say, I'm not a Browns fan. We're just talking, I'm not, I'm a Steelers fan, but we're talking with sense here. The Browns they have that ability with their corners between Denzel Ward, the kid Newsome. I forget who the slot guy is. They got two good safeties, and they can take your best receivers. And even, I'm going to say it, they're that good where I think they might be the only team. Going to sound crazy. I'll get a lot of shit on this. We'll see. Schwartz will play such a game with Miami where he will not double Tyreek Hill all the time. He will, but he just won't tell you when he's going to do it because that's how good they are.
Can I say something real quick? I'm looking at this chat, and a lot of people are saying Bills all of a sudden. Did we forget that everybody?
Mikey sounds like he's a Browns fan.
Did everybody say
Or
that
he's
they
just he
wanted?
knows. He's right. Go ahead.
But did everybody want to fire McDermott 2 weeks ago and throw the
I
team in the dump?
still think he should be. I don't think he's a great head coach. I don't care how many games they want.
I don't think they're gonna go anywhere. Josh Allen overcame head problems all of a sudden too.
I mean, this is just common sense, right, Joey, Tony, everybody listening, guys that know the game. It starts with GM loses his job, right? Doug Whaley lost his job. Bring in Brandon Beane. Coordinator gets fired. Bring in a new coordinator. There's been a lot of movement on that Buffalo staff. Buffalo comes up short again, or it's one and done, or how long do you go? How long of a window we have? Have we not learned nothing from the great Mike Tomlin that another window of talent will be wasted? That's how I look at it. Windows.
I compare Josh Allen's talent and movability to that of Randall Cunningham and no better. And I think Randall Cunningham was real good, but they do the same thing.
I agree, Dingo.
They do the same things.
T.T. Reed says she's a Steelers fan. Not a girl. I'm a fan too, but we got to make some changes.
I just think they got a lot of problems in Buffalo, and the defense isn't strong. Let's be realistic.
For sure. Everybody in here knows this game. TT knows the game. My poor Cinnamon girl, she hates football. We were talking about it, and she stuck it out with us. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well,
Joey, what do you got, Joey?
Cinnamon girl, you're here with us.
I'm listening to you guys. I couldn't.
No. What do you? I mean, so what it comes down to this AFC right now, we don't know who's going to get in. But let's say the playoffs started tomorrow. AFC, both of you guys. Joe, you go first, then Tony. Give me a favorite and give me one of your sleepers to come out of the AFC.
Well, my sleeper is going to be Buffalo and possibly Cleveland. My favorite would be I'd have to say KC over Miami.
All right, Joey, do me a favor. Say that again. Who's your favorite? KC over Miami?
KC over Miami, yeah.
And who's your sleepers?
Cleveland or Buffalo.
Okay. Tony, 1 second.
My
Tony, give me your favorite and a sleeper out of the AFC.
All right, my sleeper is going to be the Colts. Only because Flacco is 45 years old.
You mean the Brown? The Colts, Indianapolis?
Yeah, I like the Colts. As
all
a
right,
sleeper.
and who's the favorite?
Only as a sleeper. I'm going to go with the Dolphins, but let me explain why. The Chiefs are in third. Yeah, because the Chiefs are in third.
Okay, and then I'm going to give you mine right now.
I don't think.
All right, so let me just make this sure we got this, so everybody hears it in the chat. Joey C has as his favorite coming out of the AFC, Kansas City. He's got two sleeper teams he's saying to watch for: Cleveland and Buffalo. Tony, sleeper, Colts. Favorite to come out of the AFC is the Dolphins. I'm going to tell you right now who I believe is the favorite to come out of the AFC and who is a sleeper. I believe the favorite to come out of the AFC is Baltimore. Can't stand him. Don't think he can throw out outside the numbers. He's got to prove it, but I still think they're going to be the favorite because of 2 home games. And I believe the sleeper is going to be Buffalo. I went with Buffalo. I was going to say / Cleveland, but I'll just give you one. Buffalo. Let's go to the NFC. We've argued about the NFC a lot. AFC a lot.
Okay.
Who wants to kick off the NFC?
I'll go.
Greg, Joe, you kick it off, Joey.
I'll kick it off. So, obvious favorite is San Fran. The sleeper for me, you got to watch out for, again, we don't know which Dallas team is going to show up, and I'm not a Dallas fan by any stretch of the imagination. Detroit would be a sleeper.
Joe, you can't call them a sleeper. They're in third place. And they
No,
could
but
possibly be
I'm
in
saying
second
from a
overall.
playoff standpoint, this is a team that's really not in the playoffs much, Tony. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. That's what I'm basing it
All
on. You know, they're not there every year. You know, and my other sleeper would be watch out for the Rams.
All right. So NFC, Joey went with his favorite was 49ers, Joe.
Yeah.
And I like the sleeper. I don't know if I'll go there, but I do like that sleeper. Sleeper Rams. I think they can outcoach anybody, out-scheme anybody, and I kind of like the way they're playing right now. Tony, go.
I like the Rams as the sleeper because I've been looking at this now. I didn't realize Dallas overtook the Eagles, but right now Dallas is in the driver's seat. Yeah. Eagles are in 5th place right now.
And then I'm going to ask the people in the chat what they think.
And
go ahead. Now give me a favorite in the NFC.
The 49ers because of their tight end and defensive line.
Got you. Okay. I'm going to be different just to be different because I mean, honestly, it's hard to say the 49ers they're going to be very tough to beat. But I'm going to be different to be different. And that's not to say that, I had an out and I did it on purpose. No, I want to say that they could be beat. Who can beat them? Okay. So I'm going to give you a sleeper first for the NFC. Eagles, Jalen Hurts looks terrible, so I'm not going to go with them. I'm going to say a sleeper team. You see, if I make them the sleeper, then they can't be the favorite because I'm going to shock you with the favorite because I'm not going with the 49ers. So it's got to be a sleeper team is going to be – I fucking hate to pick them. I'm going to say the sleeper team is Dallas. I don't think they have much, but they get hot. Who knows? And I'm going to say a favorite team only because I'm going to maybe they get lucky and they get more than one home playoff game, and then it just takes one game on the road to win. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions as a favorite. I know it could be chopped up all day. I get it. I would chop it up too. But I want to be different.
Do this. Can we do this, guys? Let's look at the remaining games for the Cowboys and the Eagles real quick.
Yeah, who's playing the night game tonight, Joey?
Buffalo and the Chargers. Joe, you there?
Joey.
I think we lost Joey.
Me and you, kid.
All right, look at this. The Eagles have the Giants 2 out of 3 games to finish, and the Cardinals in the middle. The Cowboys have to go to the Dolphins tomorrow. Then they have a big game with the Lions next Saturday night at 8 o'clock, and then they finish at Washington. You know, they ain't got a great schedule here. I would have to say out of that, I'm going to pick the Eagles to come out of that division. Coming in tomorrow is going to be a tough game if the Dolphins are healthy. Then you got to play the Lions, who are going to be hungry on their first primetime game, it says here, on a Saturday or Sunday night in the last 2 weeks of the season in 17 years.
Tony, I just want to let you know we got a lot of who's ever in the chat, our subs, they're putting in their favorites and their sleepers.
I'm going to get to that in a second. All right, so Cinnamon Girl wants to go with the Eagles, right? Benny is going. I know at the Colts, and thank you, Benny. I like the Lions as the sleeper too. I think the Lions could beat. I think the Lions could beat the Niners at home. The Lions are that unpredictable as well as a good team this year. But are the Lions going to freeze up in their first home playoff game in how many years?
Benny said, Tony, you sound like you know. Maybe you got some inside information. You want to share it?
I think Philly's in a lot of trouble, but I think they get by the Giants.
Well, Cinnamon Girl likes the Eagles, Tom.
Cinnamon Girl, if Hurts was healthy and maybe another coach was coaching the team, they could win a Super Bowl.
TT says the Bills. TT Reed says the Bills.
I'm going to tell you right now, don't be surprised if they're ready to throw the Bills off the bus tomorrow morning, because I don't think tonight's game is going to be as easy as people think.
Benny said right out of Vegas right now, 49ers and Ravens are the where the money's going.
I don't like the Ravens. I'm sorry, and it has nothing to do with Lamar Jackson.
I don't either from a standpoint of I've seen him in too many playoff games come up very short. Now, will that change? We'll see. I don't know. I did pick them as a favorite only because they're going to get the home games, and it's time to step up. You got a new coordinator, you got a different offense than you've been running. You got weapons now. You lost your running back.
You ready? End of the first quarter, Chargers 3, Bills nothing.
What? Give me that score again.
3-0. So that means the defenses are kicking in here.
What was the final in that Steelers game? Anybody know?
34-11 Steelers.
All right.
I'm telling you, I think this Charger Bills game is going to be a nail biter tonight.
Where's Mikey from? Mikey says he's New York born and raised. What, from upstate by Deandale?
Mikey is, where are you, Mikey?
He said New York born and raised. So to me, that sounds like city, but most guys, I would think, Tony, when they say they're from up Western New York, they'll say they're from upstate, no? Or
yeah, Buffalo.
Well, then again, you are New York born and raised, no matter where. But us city guys, we like to take ownership of anything New York means. It's a city.
I don't know.
Oh, Cinnamon Girl saying she's hold on, 3-0. Oh, 3-0 is a score. Thanks, Cinnamon.
You see what I mean, though, Craig? This is the end of the first quarter, brother. 3-0.
No, yeah, I know, but low scoring game.
But you're playing for your life, and a Charger team that has not the starting quarterback, and you're only up 3. You're losing 3-0.
And this is Buffalo, correct?
Buffalo. They're at the Chargers tonight. 3-0.
They're in LA. And aren't the Chargers? They're up against a good defense. They lost their head coach. They've been saying this kid, what's his name? The quarterback Herbert has been not playing good. They're in disarray, and they're struggling right now. That's not good going into the playoffs. I'm going to stick by them. I'm not ready. Oh wait, Dean Dew's got something to say. Mikey, go ahead. Mikey is New York 100, like me and Tony in New York, like you are, but from upstate, Dean Dew, or the city, like us. Doesn't matter. New York.
Who's this kid quarterbacking? How about
Tony? I want to wake up
in a city.
There you go.
They got a guy quarterback.
Oh, Dean said he's from the city. How about that?
Which one?
Nice.
Downtown Buffalo?
Mikey is from the city. I'm curious if we could. Where, Cinnamon Girl, what state are you from? If that's okay. I mean, I'm from Queens, New York. No big deal.
Just the state, Cinnamon Girl.
I'm going to guess Cinnamon Girl is from Philadelphia.
I'm going to say I'm going to say Pennsylvania, not Philly.
Okay. Dean Dew's got something to say. Dean Dew says, oh, that was, who looks like, they look like the 78 Steelers. Who's that, Benny?
The Chargers.
Oh, my God. Well, they got a good defense.
You know what? Why I say it's a dangerous girl? She was in Texas, now Ohio.
Cinnamon Girl, I'm learning a lot. I used to love football, but moved to Canada. Was not in the world anymore. Oh, she's back in the States now. Needs to get in the loop. Gotcha.
Craig, how about this? You got nothing to lose tonight. You're the coach of the Chargers interimly. You got a backup quarterback in there. You're supposed to lose by 12 or more. You're already up 3-0.
I get it. You're right.
Game.
You're playing. You're right. If you're the Chargers, yeah, I get it. I get it. Buffalo should not be. This is a play. I mean, they're fighting for their life here, and you're struggling with a team that might be even experimenting with shit.
And that's why
Cinnamon Girl has an answer for us, Tony. We're both wrong. Was in Texas. Now she's a Buckeye girl. She's from Ohio.
Dean Do, what do you think is going to happen here with these Bills tonight? Come on. Dean Do's honest. What do you got, Dean Do?
Dean Do knows the game, so I'm waiting for him, what he's got to say.
Dean Do, do you think the Bills are in trouble tonight, buddy?
And he's with me. He said McDermott should have been gone, but that's another story.
They need to bring an old timer in there that can get.
Well, I got to tell you, if Buffalo loses tonight, they got problems.
Well, that changes a lot of things we're talking about.
I just think that some way Josh Allen will figure out how to win this game in the end.
All right. Dean Du just said the Chargers are about to score. I didn't even turn the game on. I'm looking on the tracker. Let me turn the game on. I'm looking on the tracker. I'm telling you right now, the Bills lose tonight, it's over. They're done. They can't catch the Dolphins. That's a big problem over there. And it makes a world of difference for the Dolphins because the Dolphins have wiggle room to rest certain players. You know, this changes the playoff picture drastically. The game.
I would think so. You know, I'm actually surprised my friend Dex Dallas is not with us. He must have had a bounce, and he's coming back in because I know.
Dean, do I agree the game is early, but when you're playing with so much on the line, you got to come out, especially when you got a backup quarterback that nobody knows who the hell he is on the other team. I mean, I think the Von Miller, first before he got in trouble, but not being able to do anything this year, completely destroyed the Buffalo defense.
Well, I think Von's had a ton of off-field stuff, correct?
Yeah, he's got a domestic violence issue.
Domestic violence. He knows what's waiting for him. It might not be jail. I don't know, but I know it's some serious stuff, and I'm surprised they didn't cut him. That just tells you what the league is about. I know a little bit about what he was charged with, but you know, that's an argument for another day.
What channel
in certain years, teams wouldn't put up with any bullshit, and I'm talking about, you know, maybe that's why I'm down on a lot of the shenanigans that you see in Pittsburgh now, because the coward teams wouldn't do it and deal with it. They'd rather lose than win with fucking prima donnas. And Chuck Noll would have never put up with it. And Chuck Noll would have never put up with it. Does anybody have an opinion on Robert Saleh and the Jets? Anybody want to say anything about the Jets? How bad are the Jets?
The Jets more than stink. The Jets suck.
Oh, guess who's back on? Dave T is waiting at the airport and came back on with us. Now that is a team player, Dave. Dave, we are still going at it. I have some news I'd like to break to Cinnamon Girl. She said, I know she's in Ohio, but she mentioned Buckeye. I'm a huge Penn State fan, and again, I got to take a back seat. Another one of my teams getting their ass kicked that can't beat Ohio State. And I don't want to shift to college. Kelly, Tony, Kelly's in the chat. How are you, Kelly?
Kelly, what's up, sweetie? Kelly, how are you?
Thank you for tuning in. I feel bad, you know. We're talking football. You know, we got other things, but tonight was going to be football. So if you don't know the game, if you know the game, great. If you don't, hopefully by the end of this, you'll learn some of the game. All right, Kelly?
What channel? Yeah. What channel is the Buffalo Bills?
Can I say something about the Jets? Can I say something?
Go ahead.
And I'm a Steeler fan, but growing up as a young kid, you know, near Citi Field, my dad, for it was 1 or 2 years, had season tickets to the Jets. So I wasn't a Jet fan, but as a kid, young kid, 6 years old, I played. One of my first teams I played for was the College Point Jets, so I wore a Jet uniform. That being said, so my dad liked Joe Namath, whatever. I went to a few Jet games as a kid. Was not I was a kid, but I followed I'm a diehard Steeler fan. But if I ever rooted for a New York team, New Jersey team now, it would be the Jets. Don't get this wrong. I am not a Jet fan. But if I had to pick one, Jets or Giants, although I'm a Parcells guy, it would have been the Jets. That being said, they are a joke and have been of an organization for many years. Let's go back to Mike Maccagnan being the GM. They couldn't get that pick right with quarterback Sam Darnold. Joe Douglas, 22-51, I think his record is as a GM. Horrific. Scala's going to get a pass again. Adam Gase. I mean, we could just go on and on and on. They can't draft. They just can't. I'm a big draft guy. I study it. That is what my passion is. That doesn't mean I'm an expert. Man, this fucking team can't draft players. And what I mean by they can't draft players, it's not a science, right? We could look at tape. You see talent. I'm talking about building a team. This piece fits with this piece. What's your vision? Okay, we're looking for a big, powerful, nasty, ugly team. We want to pound the ball. That's our vision, okay? We need to draft players that are big, strong, can maul. There's a certain player we're looking for. What is their image? They don't even the Steelers, as bad as they are, they still carry an image. It might not be a great one anymore, but there's still mystique to it. The Raiders, there's still a mystique. Even though it's from the 70s and they're bad. Miami, there was still something there. Buffalo, Kansas City. What is the Jets? What is their vision? Like from an executive standpoint, where are they going? Like, what's their fucking vision? What is their vision?
They've tried to rebuild, Craig.
They get it wrong everywhere, every position.
But Craig, they try to rebuild with the defensive side of the ball. Then you bring in a 40-plus-year-old Aaron Run. What?
Quinnen Williams, great pick.
Okay, but your defense
but how
is
could you
solid.
be wrong on Quinnen Williams? Nobody would have been wrong on Quinnen Williams.
No. But your defense is a solid side of the ball. But you need two sides of a ball to win a game.
And I'm talking my shit now. Go ahead, Tom.
They don't have anything on offense. And I hate to tell you, with the way it looks, you didn't think with a 40-year-old quarterback, a 40-plus-year-old quarterback, to have some kind of established backup.
Unbelievable. If that's not a firing offense in itself, you already knew this kid Zach Wilson wasn't the guy. Okay, we knew this. First of all, let's talk about that. All right, now you got me going a little bit here. I love this shit, Tony. I love it. I live for this.
Well, what the fuck? You put all this money into this team and you don't have a backup quarterback?
Exactly. But let's talk about Zach Wilson for a minute. When I tell you, I must have watched. They'll think I'm nuts. I won't even say how many hours of tape. Okay. I want to know. Let's answer this question. Why is it Zach Wilson only played 1 year? Why don't they let everybody know? If you study it, you'll know that he was beat out 2 years in a row at BYU.
Because
and he only played one season, okay? And history, if we start going to these guys that have only played one season, you'll start to see guys that don't work out. What warranted him being picked 2, coming out of a school? I'm sorry, I know that shouldn't jade you. It shouldn't. When you're scouting somebody, you got to take that helmet off, the name off. You don't look at it that way. But I got to tell you, I would have been petrified if I was that GM and saying, I'm going to take a kid from BYU with the second pick. I don't give a what his traits look like, because that's what they just were, traits, because you're trying to replicate what Patrick Mahomes can do. And that's why you drafted the kid who didn't deserve to be drafted there, who only started 9 fucking games. If anybody doesn't believe me, just please go look it up.
I'm gonna
I'm
do
not lying.
something here.
That's just my opinion.
I'm gonna pull something up and I'm gonna run it by you. You're a big draft
Please.
guy. You're a big draft guy. Let me see
No,
if I
I'm
can
not a
get
big
this.
draft guy. It's
No,
something
I
I
like
put
that you do
a
it.
lot of time into. Like you would think I get paid to do it.
All right.
Doesn't mean
but
I'm
you
right.
got-
I'm wrong a
You
lot.
had all right. Everybody was dying to get Trevor Lawrence that year, correct?
He was the top guy thought of that year coming out.
All right. So
And
let's
now,
go
if
for
you tell me offhand, I'll know it because it'll come back to me. I can pull it up right here. I'll give you
all right.
reports. that I have
Well,
on every guy for the
let's
last
go
10
like
years.
this. If you weren't
Trevor
gonna get
Lawrence
Trevor,
was the top guy coming out.
I'm looking at it, but let me ask you and then answer me. You got Trevor Lawrence. Everybody was going to take him, no matter who had the pick.
Right. So you're
Right?
saying you take the pick to take it.
Right. You got to take Trevor Lawrence at that point, coming
No,
off a
I'm saying the
championship game
Jets.
and
So
everything.
they're fucked.
Right. Zach
Well,
Wilson
I'm
came
gonna
in. Zach Wilson came as the second pick.
All right, let's go through the rest of that first round and
I
let's
got it
see.
up here.
Go ahead.
You got
Rattle them off every pick in the first round.
Trey Lance was the third overall pick. Another
Out of the
I don't
league.
think-
Go ahead. Fucking forget it. He's parking cars in Dallas. Go ahead.
All right. Then you added the fourth pick, which I don't understand at all. Kyle Pitts, a tight end out of Florida, went to Atlanta.
So far, hasn't done what they thought he could do. Keep going because there's somebody you're gonna find on there. Go ahead.
Jamar Chase, wide receiver, went to the Bengals. Good pick.
Go ahead.
All right. Which was this guy here? That's Chase. Forget about him. Then we got Jalen Waddle went 6th to the Dolphins. Okay. I don't have a problem with that.
I'll give you my grade on Jalen Waddle. I had him rated as the best wide receiver coming out of Alabama because there was a bunch of them that came out that year.
So
Go
did I. Then you got
Devontae
Penny Sewell, offensive tackle out of Oregon, went to the Lions. I like
Right.
that pick.
And he's doing a great job. Go ahead.
All right. Then the Jaguars had J.C. Horn, a cornerback. Horrible pick at the time.
He hasn't
They
worked
could've-
out so far, that's for sure. Go ahead.
The Broncos went with Pat Surtain, cornerback.
Excellent.
Devontae Smith, wide receiver, to the Eagles. Good pick.
Good pick. I thought Waddle was better, but go ahead. But he's a good pick.
Well, he went after Waddle.
Right. Good pick.
Justin
Good pick.
Fields went.
But he was the biggest star at Alabama.
But here's my point, and it's coming
Go
up
ahead.
in one more pick.
What were the Jets supposed to do?
Justin Fields went 11th.
Mhm.
All right. You know
Garbage.
what I would
Go
have did? You know what I would have did? I would have said, fuck the quarterback for one more year and took Micah Parsons, who dropped all the way down to 12th because he
I
was
wasn't even
known.
going to say Micah, but that makes a ton of sense. Trade down, accumulate picks, because your quarterback is not at number 2.
Nope.
Now, it's
and you
easy to
could've-
say now. People say, oh, Craig could say that now. But I
And
said
I'm going to
that
tell
then.
you something right now. This might have been the worst draft of players I've ever seen.
Right. Now, if we
Listen,
we can go deeper with that draft. You could go through the first round. I got to tell you, I think the Giants got egg on their face because they let Dallas, I believe, if I remember correctly, trade up in front of them to take Micah Parsons.
I believe
See if there's a trade there somewhere with Philly, Dallas, the Giants. Something happened there, and
the Giants traded with the Cowboys.
Right. And Dallas takes Parsons, and who do the Giants take?
Oh, wait a minute. The Giants traded with the Bears because there's a lot of things here. The
Giants
took,
I think, took the 9th pick that year. Let's see if my memory's right.
20th pick. They got Kadarius
Where
Toney.
were they originally, though?
I believe the Giants were. Hold on, give me 1 second. I got to get back there. They were at 10.
Okay, so I said 9th. I got a decent memory. I remember they were in that area. They went from 10 to 20. The Giants are sitting there to take Micah Parsons. Who did the Giants take? Share this with the Joe Judge great team. Tell us who the Giants
The Giants went with Kadarius Toney, wide receiver out of Florida.
Who's now getting run out of Kansas City because he can't fucking catch a pass.
You got it. I mean, but
Kadarius Toney, and you got Mike. Now, it's not a science. Going to make mistakes. Things happen. But sometimes when you stay with your vision of the franchise you're trying to build, I don't know.
All right, so my pick is that my point is that was 2021. I would have, if I was the Giants, took Micah Parsons. He was that good at that point in college. Or Waddle. But you didn't have nobody to throw.
Joe, are you back?
Yeah, I had to step away for a few minutes.
All right,
boys.
Joey, we're talking about Tony's bringing up the draft, and I'm just going to run this by Joey. Joey, you know
Go
I
ahead.
spent some time with the draft. You know I had you involved last year. We talked a
Sure,
little bit.
sure.
Tony knows. My children know I spend a lot of hours. It doesn't mean I'm good at what I do. It's just I love to do it. You know, and we're talking about Tony brought up that no way should the Jets, and I agreed fully, and I made my case why this kid Zach Wilson should have never been the second pick. But even more egregious is the Giants trading out of 10 to drop to 20 and watch the Cowboys or whoever it was take Micah Parsons. I think went at 10 or 11, and the Giants
11.
took Kadarius Toney, who's now being chased out of Kansas City because he can't catch a fucking cold. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, you're 100%
Yeah.
right.
How did
100%
the
right.
Giants let any? How did they trade that? That means they didn't like Micah Parsons. Are you really serious?
Right.
That's
Right.
what I'm talking about, a vision of building a team. Some of the Jets don't have. There's no vision.
Well,
What are we?
I think we talk about it a lot, right?
Yes,
I mean,
we do.
you and I talk about it a lot. A lot of teams, you know, they put for me,
Thank you, Benny.
they put way too much into this Wonderlic test.
Oh,
They put way too much onus on. Well, he can
the
bench
combine, the underwear Olympics.
225, 62 times. Who really gives a fuck? What can he do from sideline to sideline? What can he do with shoulder pads and fucking a helmet and cleats on, right? Anybody could throw the ball 60 fucking yards with spandex and a cut-off fucking
Joey
t-shirt
said
on,
that, Dex.
right? I mean, let me see him in a 7-on-7 drill with shoulder pads and a helmet on, and a guy like Micah Parsons fucking rushing him. I'm just saying. I know it's not realistic,
Well,
but the college game and the
That's
pro game is two different fucking things, right?
can I tell you something, Joey?
Go ahead.
Can I say something talking about the combine? First of all, now before I started doing this, I studied from like the Bill Polians. I listened to a lot of theories he had. I read a lot of different books on the proper way to scout, the Bill Walsh theory, this theory, that theory, and the Belichick theory on scouting, that he had a prerequisite for certain positions. It had to be a certain size, run certain. So here's what I do. First of all, the tape don't lie.
Right.
So I'll watch at least four games of tape on a play.
Right.
Beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year, and a bowl game. And if I could get an all-star game in on a player, I'll do that. Right? That's for a play. I will watch the combine. I'll tell you what I'm looking for at the combine. If he's a lineman, all I want to know is what his 10-second shuttle is. Yeah, I'm concerned about his bench, his power, his power clean, his bench.
Yes.
I just want to know his 10-second shuttle. I want to know how big his hands are. That does mean something. I've learned that. Hand placement is huge. And, size of your hands. That's going to tell me how long your arms are important. It's going to tell me if you can play guard or you're going to be a tackle. Height is important. But 40 means nothing to me if you're a lineman.
Right.
The 10-yard shuttle is everything in that.
Right.
That they call it the gauntlet for receivers. That's that drill they run, Joey, across the line.
Yeah, of course.
Right. But they call it the gauntlet now, Tony. You know what I'm talking about? Tony, you there?
I'm right here. I'm just looking at these
There's a drill
last two
called the
drafts.
gauntlet. And it's when they have these young kids at the combine run down the line, the quarterback throws them, they keep turning around, catching passes. Okay. Pat Kerwin, genius of a mind. From him, I learned a lot of different things about what they're intended for. And what you're looking for in that, more so than with defensive backs, we really want to see in that gauntlet drill, if you have hip flexibility, it's more about that. Everybody thinks it's a hands drill. Yeah, we don't want to see you dropping passes. But when you get down to the end of that line across the field, if you're 5 yards off it, that tells them that's not good. That tells them you don't have great hip fluidity and stay on a straight line. So if you're running a pattern and you have to be exactly 8-1 cut straight to the post, you can't end up in a corner.
Right.
It's important. So I look for those things. I care less. I mean, it's nice when you see a corner run a 4.340. It's nice. But if his tape sucks, I care less about that 4.340.
Right.
That's me.
Correct.
That's me. I don't give a shit about his speed if his tape sucks. And
Right.
a lot of times, guys are just getting drafted on traits. And that's what happened with Zach Wilson because they're trying to replicate, and they tried to replicate Patrick Mahomes. Oh, he can throw from his back foot. He throws sideways, no look. Yeah, that helped him a lot.
Right.
Just like they fucked up with Sam Donald. They couldn't get that right either. How many quarterbacks are they? Sanchez was, I mean, Rex Ryan, at least he went to 2 championship games, right?
Yep.
But
Not with a great quarterback either.
And what did he do?
Yeah.
In the
Yep.
end, Sanchez was underachiever, no?
Yeah. 100%.
Right. And then you go with Donald right after that. Where is he? He's back up in San Francisco. All right. Good. Well, God bless
Right.
he's still in the league. And now we got Zach Wilson, who probably will be out of the league.
Right. Right.
Or in the XFL. Maybe.
You know, the strange thing, I'm not strange, but the thing about the NFL is they adapt to things very, very well, right? So CJ Stroud, we'll use him as an example. Great college quarterback, having a fantastic season. But how, and I'm asking honestly, I want an honest opinion. One, do you think he'll be one of the greats? Now, hold on, don't answer yet. And two, do you think that this will last more than a season or two before teams adapt to him and figure him out?
Good question. That's a great question. I gotta say this. It's a hard question to answer. I think it's a great fucking question. Tone, I'll let you shoot first, and I have something I want to say. If anybody in the chat wants to fire in on this, go ahead.
I think
Dave, I spent plenty of time on that. Go ahead.
I think Stroud will be a good quarterback. I think
Okay.
Bryce Young
Do a lot of
was a
big
horrible
direction,
pick.
Dave.
I agree with you on Bryce Young. Now
But I think the best quarterback. Hold on a second. The best
ahead.
quarterback to come out of that draft to me was Anthony Richardson down the road.
I agreed.
Based off of what? Traits, correct?
Correct. Right.
Look at the size. Look at it.
Can run like the wind. They can throw the ball the length of the field. So
And
they
look
were,
at the
they were
kid.
willing to take the risk because he sucked at Florida if he didn't run the ball.
Right.
But what I'm
And-
saying is, and his completion percentage was only about 46%. But
Right.
Indianapolis was able to take that risk
Correct.
because based off of traits, they was in such a need of a quarterback. I get that risk. I get it.
Right.
I might
But-
not have done it, but I get what they were thinking.
and for me, the
Because
kid in
it's much more upside than
the kid in
this kid Wilson.
Chicago is in
Horrible.
over his head. He's in way
Well,
over his
Justin
head.
Fields, listen, this actually is an old Belichick thing. You show me a guy, Parcells actually, you show me a guy that has a high interception ratio and bad completion to percentage ratio in college football over a period of time.
Right.
I'll show you a guy that 9 out of 10 does not do well in the NFL and is out of the league. Now, there is some anomalies to that rule. Josh Allen being one of them.
Right.
Josh Allen at Wyoming. Now, people will say, well, he didn't have a lot of talent around him, and that is a legitimate argument. But he didn't have a high completion percentage, and there were games where he threw a lot of picks. So they thought, history tells us, you're struggling reading defenses in college. That's why you're throwing this many picks. You're really going to struggle in the NFL because the windows aren't big.
Right.
But he showed something different.
Right.
But then he started to regress, and people started bringing up those same things again. I was hearing last year, Josh is going back to his Wyoming days. But now they've calmed him down. But they've asked the kid to throw the ball 50 fucking times a game.
Now let me ask you this question, right?
That's just my opinion.
Do you think the teams are
Cinnamon Girl said 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. Woo woo.
somewhat pressured to take a quarterback because you have guys who sit there and study film and they fucking scout and they do this and they do that and they do this and they do that, right? And I'll use Kenny Pickett, right? For me, I didn't like the kid.
Gonna go there.
I didn't like him at all. Tony and Craig, and Antonio, if you're there, I know you're the fucking. I know you're Steeler fans, but that kid is horrible. He's awful.
All
And
right,
that
can I-
if you're building your franchise around him, I feel sorry for you. I
Okay,
He won't be there.
let's
He
talk a
won't be
little
there
bit about
soon.
him. Let me
Correct.
give you a little, not that, no history lesson here, but let's talk a little bit about him.
Right?
Glad you brought him up. First, let's start with his career with the Pitt Panthers.
Right.
5 year senior,
Mm-hmm.
came into the league at 25.
Right.
I don't like that right off the bat.
Correct. Small
okay?
hands.
I do like 3-year starters, 4-year
Sm-
starters. That's great.
Small
You know,
hands.
but I want to see at least 3 for me.
Mhm.
His first, I think, 3 seasons.
Right.
Another guy, Tony Silo, he only started 1 year, and it was his last year that he had the big year
Yep.
at Pittsburgh because somebody else was beating him out fucking year in and year out. I forget the kid's name. He didn't make it in the league either. He bounced around a little bit, but
Now hold on. Think about what you just said. Right? How did he get beat out year in and year out at Pitt? I'm not knocking Pitt.
You're
But
right.
year
They're
in-
not a powerhouse.
But- all right, but just hear me out. You got beat out at the college level, and you wasted a number 1 fucking pick on him.
Right, I
I'll tell
think
you
that was.
what.
Can I tell you what it was? It was Kevin Colbert's way of telling the Steelers go fuck yourself as he went out the door.
Right.
And I don't know how you take it. First of all, taking a quarterback at 20.
What do you
is
think,
just
Tony?
sickening.
What do you think?
Okay. I was studying that draft because I was doing a sports show last year. Do you realize that if the Colts don't pick up Anthony Richardson, Geno Smith would have been the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year?
Right.
I never
I
realized.
got my youngest son's a Seahawks fan. I can't look at Geno Smith. Oh, I tell you, the kid Drew Lock's been playing decent. But anyway, go ahead. I got you.
All right, but Geno Smith had a miracle season, if you ask me, last year. He ain't
Yeah,
that good.
agreed. No, not at
Again,
all. No,
Mitchell
not at all.
Trubisky. That's who they bring in. That's the
Right.
guy. Are you kidding
Right.
me?
And
But
now
Mitchell Trubisky was the number 2 overall pick or number 3
Okay,
overall
and
pick.
I'm glad we talked about him.
right. The same
Again, what
thing
do we
could be
talk about?
said,
1 year
but
start.
the same, and again, for
1
me,
year at North Carolina.
correct.
Right or wrong?
Same thing could be said for Sam Howell in Washington.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Oh, okay. Was he a 1 year
Garbage.
starter?
Garbage. Yes, garbage. Everybody,
I
he
just
could
got the
make,
numbers on Sam. It's
he
funny you bring
could-
up Sam Howell.
he could make
I asked somebody
every
to give me his
throw.
numbers.
He could do this. He could do that.
20 touchdowns, 16 picks. And
Right.
what the fuck does that mean that he threw for 3,700 yards?
That
He's
means
got
nothing.
16 interceptions.
Well, not only that, when
Horrible ratio.
you're behind every game, of course you're going to throw for 3,000 yards.
And let me tell you something. They got a decent team. They got good running backs. They got a couple of good offensive linemen. They
Yeah.
got some players on defense. They got a bad coach, Ron Rivera. It's time to go to sleep, take a nap.
Mhm.
And he's gotten soft. Del Rio's defenses are old. I'm not even going to get into that. You guys got me crazy with the draft and talking about Pickett and I love it because it goes back to these 1 year starters. We
Yep.
can name a bunch of them, and they've done shit in the NFL.
Yep.
Kenny Pickett, Zach Wilson, Mitchell Trubisky, and there's so many more. I mean, we're going off the top of our head. It started with the Michael Parsons thing. What a that guy should have lost their jobs right there.
Yep.
I'll never forget. I watch every
Yeah,
draft.
but
I mean,
can't
it's
we?
like out of control. But
Fellas, because I know you're both old enough to know this, but can't you say the same thing about the 30 fucking teams that passed on Marino?
absolutely.
No,
and the
no,
Steelers
no,
were
no,
one of them.
No, Tony, come on.
No, I'm
I
gonna tell
believe
you
so.
why.
They put the rumor. They put the thing out there that they had a coke problem at Pittsburgh, right?
Right.
No, guys. At the time, okay, Herschel Walker was already with the New York Generals.
Yeah, the Jersey
Generals.
Generals. Yep.
How he turned down, and Jim Kelly went to the USFL, Reggie White went to the
Yes.
USFL.
Yes.
At the time, the money that he was being offered by Donald Trump
Right.
was astronomical. I wouldn't have took a shot that early either. He had no intentions on coming there until something broke down in negotiations.
Right.
He wanted a Jim Kelly contract. Is exactly not Jim Kelly, the Steve Young contract.
Okay.
All right.
I want to answer the
already
question
going.
Dave put up here, Tony.
He was already
Joey.
going, Joe.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would have wasted my pick on that.
Yeah.
Dave T put up a good question,
Go ahead.
and this is his opinion. And whoever wants to give the answer to it, I have one, but you guys feel free to shoot away at it, shoot holes in it. Fields got plenty of potential. When you're on the move every down because the line is collapsing every down, you're going to make mistakes trying to make something happen. I believe he's going to say, get rid of the coaches. I have an answer. If anybody wants to take it, take it.
You go
If
first.
not, I'll be more than happy to answer it.
Go
in
ahead.
my
You
opinion.
you fire away. Go ahead. You fire away first.
Tony, you okay?
Go. Shoot.
Dave? You know I like you, Dave. All right. I shouldn't say this as somebody that you study film because we said it before. You're not supposed to, if the tape don't lie. So don't look at the helmet and don't be turned off by certain schools because they're known to turn out. They don't work out. But that does play into you, even though you don't want to think about it. Ohio State quarterbacks,
Yep.
right? Outside of C.J. Stroud this year, I will tell you, I broke down a lot of tape on Justin Fields, hours and hours, like everybody. Yeah, we could blame some of it, a lot of it on the organization. But here's the problem with Justin Fields. If you gave Justin Fields an hour to throw the ball, first thing is he is looking to run. He's not comfortable in the pocket.
Not at all.
Now, we can make a case, well, he's getting better at it. Okay, let's watch his eye level, Dave. When we're watching tape, let's go back to his tape, pull it up. Watch him drop back. You show me where his head is. The reason why I'm telling you that is because it was very fucking glaring. Very glaring. He drops back. He's not looking at the defense. So you can't read a defense if your head is down because you're thinking about moving. Right?
Hold on a
So you gotta
second.
be
Hold on
looking
a
down
second.
at all times.
Hold on a second. Mikey, they put it on Peacock.
And one
Mikey.
second, I'll give it to you. And he's not comfortable in the pocket. He's got a cannon of an arm. That has nothing to do with it. He is not accurate because he has horrific footwork. Horrific. Go ahead.
And he's small. He's not a big quarterback. He's not a tall quarterback. He's a small quarterback. And in the NFL, you know, as we know, you got fucking 6-footers on the line or better. And, you know, when you're 5'9" on a good day, you know, there's only so much offense you could run with a guy who's not comfortable in the pocket.
I mean, Dave's got a great point. They are a terrible run organization. They have a new head coach every other year, GM every 2 years, and they're constantly in rebuild mode. But, you know, look, is it the kid's fault? But, you know, he showed these things at Ohio State that he wasn't accurate, and he played with the best of the best.
Yeah.
He wasn't accurate.
Correct.
Look, guys, don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you with the facts. Go and watch the tape. Don't take my word for it. Go to the old 22.
Right.
It's something you can get on NFL Plus. Forget about his college tape if you don't want to look for that. It's easy. Get something called the Old 22. It'll put you like you're sitting in a booth with no sound, and you'll be able to watch him drop back, see if anybody's open, see if he's making the right reads, common sense, and see where his head is. And those are just things that scouts will look for in a quarterback.
Right.
Where is your head when you're dropping back? What are you looking to do? Are you looking to bail? What are you looking to do? Can you feel pressure without looking at it? There's a thing called that. Right, Joey?
Sure. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You can feel pressure without seeing it. Right? You can feel
100%.
it.
Well, here's the problem. And here's a big problem. You can look at guys like Gino Torretta. You can look
Dave's
at guys
saying,
that
boy,
have-
fucking Greg's a frustrated football player. Maybe, Dave.
you have a problem that, first of all, he dropped all the way down to 11. Right? That's number one. He had a horrible championship game, if I remember right. What the hell are you doing making him your franchise quarterback?
Right, that's just it, Tony.
We're in a league today where you better be 6'1" or better at minimum.
100%. 100%.
Yeah,
you don't go draft the guy.
You know what else, Tony? You know
I
what
have
else?
my own standard for a quarterback.
There's one thing that I will add to that. I think that a lot, and I get it, I totally understand, but I think in a lot of cases, these kids are done a disservice because they play in this wide open offense, this spread offense, the fucking, you're always in a shotgun, these wild fucking offenses where, again, we know that Ohio States, the Alabamas, the FSUs, the Texases, you're surrounded by athletes. I mean, you're surrounded by the best of the best at the college level. You come to the pro level, and now you're asked to, hey, get under the center. And, you look to your right and you look to your left, and you don't got those same athletes that you had at Ohio State. You're dealing with a different animal. Now it's on you. It's nobody to make you look good. There's no Marvin Harrison Jr. and whatever other speedster you had on the outside. You're dealing with what's your name again? You know what I mean? And now I'm asked to get under the center, and I'm 5'9", and my center is 6'2.5". And the lineman is charging at me. He's 280 pounds and runs a 4.6 40, and he's right on my ass. You're dealing with a different animal. So I think at the college level, in a lot of these programs, a lot of these kids are done a disservice because you're not ready coming into the pros. You're not, and listen, again, not everybody's going to be a John Elway and so on and so forth, or a Peyton Manning or an Eli or whoever else you might think of. My point is that in the NFL, it's not like Major League Baseball where, all right, you start at single A, go to double A, go to triple A, go to summer ball, go to fall ball, and then, in a year or two, you're ready. In the NFL, in some cases, you're thrusted into the fucking game. You're not ready, and you take a beat in those first 2 years, you're kind of shell-shocked. And now, here it is, year 3, and people are calling for your job. They're like, wait a second, like you just said, Tony, which is a great point. What the fuck were you thinking making this kid a franchise quarterback? What were you thinking?
Well, here's the better part, Joe. Wait a minute. Who was the next quarterback and only quarterback drafted in the first round after him?
Where? What year? With Justin Fields?
Justin Fields draft. What was that, 22?
Yeah, 22.
22.
Okay.
I'll tell you
So
right
you
now.
had Trevor Lawrence.
What number did Justin Fields go?
11.
He traded up to
11.
get.
He went
Another
11.
one that they took, Micah Parsons was the next pick.
Right.
But your only other choice was Mac Jones.
Right.
Who turned out to be a pig in a blanket. You're right. Well,
but okay, so then what about so
you don't take a quarterback.
You don't. That was my point. You don't take.
You don't take one, but teams feel because it's a quarterback-driven league that they're forced to do that, and that's what separates the great organizations from the not good organizations. And yet, the Steelers did exactly what they normally would have never done.
Right.
Rather than take the best player available, they took Kenny Pickett. Now, I want to answer something for Dave. If you guys want to help out on this, this is a great question. Great freaking question. Dave is saying Luke Getsy, who's the OC there, play calling does not fit what Justin Fields does well, his capabilities. Fields is not a small kid, Dave is saying. Absolutely right. He's a big kid. The play calling don't fit him. I'll get to that in a second. I respect anyone's opinion as I do yours, Dave. We will see how it goes. Remains to be seen. Okay. We have to accept that. But let me poke some holes in that theory. And I'm not against Justin Fields. He's got every trait you would want. Tall, strong, he's got it all. Glasses are off. As a coordinator, let's start with Luke Getsy. Great coaches, right? They don't implement their system. The great ones don't. They either, especially if they're brought in to a team that's already there and they're hired as a coordinator, they're supposed to adapt a system around what they have, not implement what they know and want to push. You understand? So if you're a guy that believes in the run game, but you don't have that line and the power back or whatever it is you want to do, but you have a team that's built to be a spread out offense, well, then you better come up with a spread out system. You understand? You have to adapt to the talent you have. Now, I can't tell you how long offhand Luke Getsy's been the OC there. It's been what, 2 years? 3? 2, 3?
3.
I think he came with Eberflus, right? I don't think he's a good head coach. So I'm going to give Justin Fields that much. Maybe he is in the wrong system. What I am saying to you is this. I won't backtrack from what I'm saying, and we will see. Time will show. I believe when it's all said and done, Justin Fields' inability to complete passes in big spots, and that's saying it nicely. You know what I'm saying? He's just not accurate. I don't care what kind of traits he has. Okay, he had those same traits at Ohio State. This is the NFL. You know that, Dave. I could be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. Shit. Ask anybody that knows me. I'm always wrong. That's just how I feel.
The problem what they're doing is they're taking kids who make it to the finals.
Well, we got to wait another 3 years on him. We've given him 3 already. Go ahead.
But he shouldn't have been there. He just shouldn't have been a first-round draft pick.
You know, Bill Parcells' old theory, Tony, was Bill Parcells' old theory was, and even Bill Cowher used to believe in the same thing. If I don't know what I have in a player after 3 years, there's a good chance he's not going to be here in the 4th. Doesn't mean you have to be a superstar, but if I don't know who you are as a player,
right?
And a lot of questions are still there with Fields. Dave might have a point. Is it the offense? Is it that he just fucking has bad footwork? So we'll go through another staff and we'll go another 3 years with him.
All right, but you're
going to have to make a decision on him soon. You give him his 5th-year option?
You're bringing up Bill Parcells. Phil Simms got the job by default because he picked the other quarterback.
I was just using him in a theory on players.
No, but I'm going to give you his theory. Never worked for him either. Phil Simms fit a system. Phil Simms wasn't a superstar quarterback. The system fit him, and he had probably the 2nd or 3rd best defense in the history of the NFL. The 2nd Super Bowl, he came in and won with a backup, right? In Hostetler. But he had the guy who was number 12, Joe. Maybe you remember his name.
Thank you, Mikey. Enjoy it, brother.
He had that kid starting over Simms for 2 years in a row. You know, so Parcells was kind of iffy.
I'm just saying a theory on if you don't know what you have. I'm not talking about his X's.
No. I agree with you, but you know what?
You got to know what you got. And I think Dave raises a lot of good points. I just, I'm going to be convicted on that. Like like in anything, I always want to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. It's nothing personal at all. Not because I root for Penn State. I give a shit less. When you're evaluating players, and I'm nobody, I don't get paid. But what I'm saying is how I'm not a professional scout. I see it. I see it. I put the work in. I put the hours in to notice it. I understand the difference. I studied it.
I'll tell you what talent.
I mean, do I have to put the plaque up here that I'm certified to be a scout? What I'm saying is I understand what I'm looking at. Just like you guys can understand what I'm telling you. Just go get the old 22, and we're not scouts, and you'll fucking see it. Now, Dave might have a great point. I think Getsy sucks. I think the whole the McCaskey should have sold. They should have been forced to sell that team long ago. They haven't had it. They horrific from top to bottom. That being said, has Justin Fields had any weapons in Chicago? I think he has. Did he have a plethora? No. He's had some weapons. We can go through them. How is it his 3rd year? We don't know what we have yet. We got to make a decision in March if he gets his 5th-year option based off of what he's shown. If you got to pay him, do you give him his 5th-year option?
Absolutely not.
Now, Dave might say yes, and that's Dave's opinion. But like Dave said, in time, we will see. Well, he's right. And so far, in 3 years, we've seen that. And I do use that 3-year barometer, and I understand guys, Geno Smith, lifelong backup, right? But he has a huge year in Seattle, and I'm glad for him. He got $75 million. I'm happy for him. But Geno is Geno. He still makes the same dumb mistakes, throws picks inside the 20s. I watch Seattle a lot because my young guy, the younger one, he's a Seahawks fan. And so I see a lot of Seattle games. And I can't tell you how many times Seattle gets inside the 15, inside the 10, first and goal, and they can't score. They can't score. He throws picks, he does this, he does that. But I'm glad he made his money, but Geno is Geno. And I don't want to sidetrack off of Justin Fields. Guy's got every trait in the world. And it hasn't, we can blame coaches, we can. The guy, Joey said it before, Trevor Lawrence, they've given him nothing. Trevor Lawrence with nothing still looks 20 times better than Justin Fields. I could be wrong. I'm not blind. I know what I'm saying. I think if we put the time in and we know the game, I know who I'm talking to knows this game. If Dave really gets objective with it, takes the Chicago Bear helmet off of Justin Fields, make believe it's the fucking Lions, he'll see what I'm saying. I know we're rooting for the kid. I'm not rooting against the kid. Don't get it wrong. But if we look at some other guys that haven't had some of the talent or just as little as talent, they're still doing their thing, and they don't have powerhouse teams. Justin Fields was drafted more so than C.J. Stroud off of traits. C.J. Stroud in college showed he sits in the pocket and he delivers. Fields, even in college, had a problem with missing wide open receivers. Wasn't as glaring as it is in the pros, but it was an issue. Don't listen to me. Make believe I'm a fucking lie. Go back and look at it. Go watch some Ohio State tape. Shut the sound off. Don't be jaded by the announcers. Shut the sound off. That's why the old 22, you're not listening to announcers. That's the whole part of it. That's the whole part of it. Take the sound out of it. Take the uniforms out of it. And evaluate a player based off of what your eyes tell you. That's all. Here we go. Dave's getting at me. I love it. Getsy left Green Bay working with Aaron Rodgers. Fields ain't Rodgers. I know what you're saying, baby. That's the problem, Craig. He don't have good plays for him. I'm not disagreeing with that. They got Moore, DJ Moore. He's been hitting when plays are called. Cole Kemet. Got some weapons is what you're telling me. Sounds to me like you're telling me they got some weapons. They make a horrific trade, right? They give the Steelers a number 2 pick for Chase Claypool, who the Steelers couldn't wait to get out of town. What is Chase Claypool doing in the league? The Bears then give up that 2 pick, who the Steelers turned into Joey Porter Jr. this year, who was a good pick. Claypool gets cut from the Bears, I believe, goes to Miami and can't even get on the field. He's in street clothes.
Well, he's injured.
When you make moves like that, it's going to set you back. Have they helped him? No. No, they haven't helped him. But he has had some weapons, and I have seen him miss a lot of receivers. And yeah, I see him make plays with his legs, but you're not going to survive in the league. Didn't we see this with Cam Newton? It's going to catch up to you eventually. They had to slow Josh Allen down, right? We had to slow him down. He's taking too many hits. Career's going to be shortened. I don't care how big you are, right? I don't know, mate. Look, that's just my opinion. There's no one in this draft better than Fields right now. Williams or maybe absolute not. Change Getsy's calls. All right, Dave, I want to make sure I got this correct. I love this shit. This is awesome. I want to make sure I got this right. Tony, chime in at any time. Shut me up at any time. Say, Craig, that's enough for you. You're on timeout. Because you know
I think what you guys, but timeout then. I think you guys are missing that when this backup showed a little bit of life, Justin Fields was just about cut this year.
Continue.
So it's not that the Bears are hoping on Justin Fields. They're looking for, somebody to come into that spot already. The Bears are not one of them teams that are going to sit around with this kid. They were ready to cut him already.
Dave, I got to ask Dave a question. Dave, in your opinion, I know you like Justin Fields. I'm not telling you not to like him. You got to make your own decisions, and I know you know the game just by this talk. I know, and I love it. I love it, man. We could talk all day, bro. But I got to say one thing. So what you're telling me is if the Bears are in a position to take Khalid Williams, Drake May, Michael Penix, Jaden Daniels, I'll just name 4 of them. you're telling me the Bears stay with Justin Fields.
Absolutely.
That's your
no way.
opinion. If you're the
There's
GM,
no
that's
way.
what you do. That's
Not
it.
gonna
That's
happen.
their call, and maybe that's the call they're going to make. I don't see how you pass up on Williams, Drake May, or I'll give you the sleeper and all of it, Jaden Daniels. And I like Penix, but I'll go with those three. They're going to have a shot at one of them. I don't know what their record is. What's the Bears' record? Where are they? They're going to probably be a top 5 pick, right?
Bears are going to be in there. Hold on, let me think.
Davey, where will they be pick-wise right now? Probably top 5, no? Top 6? I don't like Luke Getsy, Dave. I want you to understand that. I don't like the whole Bear organization. They need to be gutted just like the Steelers. So I don't want you to think they're a storied franchise. They should be one of the best franchises, but they haven't been for too long. The monsters of the Midway are missed.
What the hell is it about?
Well, TT Rad, if you think that you're enjoying a football show, you should see when we have other things going on here. It gets good.
The Bears are the third worst
Because
team
we're real.
in
We
the
don't believe
NFC.
in bullshit. We get to it.
The Bears are the third worst team in the NFC.
All right. Bears are the third worst. All right. So if we typed in NFL draft order 2024, Easton Stick, I got it. I know it. I know the kid. Know him well.
Let's do it.
I'll give you some numbers with Easton Stick if you want. I love it, Mikey. I love it. Love it. I'll talk this shit from now till sunrise. Dave, I want to get back to Dave. Dave says, Tony, there's no, I love it. I got to tell you, Dave's a good soldier boy. He could be in a foxhole with me any day, and he's going to stay with his guy. There's no one
would
in
be fifth.
the draft better than Phil. Oh, we read that one. I disagreed with him on that. Dave, here it is. I agree with Tony. Boy, Dave, you broke my heart. You don't agree with me. All right. Tony, that's good. But don't feel good about backing up again. What's on the board? Absolutely 100%. I'm ready to roll the dice. We got the number 1 pick again if Carolina loses out. So I ask you again, Dave. I'll ask it one more time. I know you don't like Caleb Williams. He showed me something I didn't like either. With the whole crying in the stands, painting his fingernails. This is something, and it's not about just the painting of the fingernails. It was about when he said after a big game, oh, I just want to go home and lay with my puppy. We need to be a little bit tougher than that if we're playing the game. And you're going to have a lot more adversity in the NFL. So that would scare me. But he does have the goods. I'll back off of that. You're going to tell me you pass on Drake May because you got Justin Fields? You're going to pass on Daniels because you got Justin Fields? We all have difference of opinions. Just the tape don't lie. That's all I'm saying. Let's just evaluate the tape, and then you make it. And that's obviously not going on in Chicago. Maybe they just don't have the right people evaluating tape. I don't know. And it ain't happening in Pittsburgh either. So I talk about my team too. I don't know. And Dave, we talked about Anthony Richardson getting drafted based off of traits, and I understood it at that point. But I thought he went way too high up in the draft based off of what he did in college. Okay? But the Colts were in a situation. It's a quarterback-driven league. His upside is crazy. He kind of backfired his rookie year because that's wasted. He gets hurt, right? Now next year he's essentially a rookie again. So now we got 2 years in. He's still got time because he's such a big, strong kid. But if they don't figure out a way to get him to complete passes, because he's a nightmare, I don't want to say it. He's bigger actually than Justin Fields, but they're both big. The kid can run like the wind, but he's another guy, got bad footwork, inaccurate. Look at his percentage in Florida. I mean, he was in the 40s. There were times he was in the 46% rate. A lot of picks. Yeah, he can run. We're going to run him all the time, and that's why he's out the whole year. He broke what? He broke his collarbone. That's all they were doing with him, running I-lead draws with him. Like we do with 8-year-olds. We run them on sweeps. Right, Tony?
Yeah.
I'm only talking – look, guys, I love it. I'm passionate about this. I'm open-minded about it. I'm not saying I know – I don't know nothing. It's just – it's a passion. It's a passion. I love studying it. I spend too many hours studying this shit and not getting paid for it. I get left. My kids say, "What is this? You're out of your mind." They've been doing it since they're young because they watch me. But it's something I enjoy. But if you just stick to that theory, the tape don't lie. It'll not jade us from. Like I want to root for a kid. I want to root for. I'd like to see Justin Fields work out for him. I just don't think it's gonna. We can look back at this 2 years from now and see if I'm accurate or not. I mean, I don't think at this point most people would say to you, "Boy, you ain't going out on a stretch by saying that," because the arrow is pointing that way. So I'm probably going to be right on this one. So I'll give you, if you want, I'll give you ones before they happen. It's just based off of, and it's not a science because guys are wrong on people all the time. Look, they tried to knock that kid Herbert coming out. They said he wasn't a leader. His first 2 years in the league, all he did was break fucking records. Now he's having a down year, I believe, right? Is Justin Herbert having a down year?
Yeah, he's having a down year, but he might have broke records. But where did the Chargers go? Nowhere. It isn't about records.
I get you. Has he shown he can throw the ball from the pocket?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
But the problem is,
I'm just curious. Just all.
the problem you're going to have is you need to have differences in the NFL.
If you're going to take Justin Herbert or Justin Fields right now, who are you taking?
Herbert.
Okay, that's all. And Dave T just said something that we agree on something, Davey, and we usually agree on a lot of things, pal. That's why I know me and you and Tony need to go to a football game. We'll grab Mikey and we'll go to a game. We'll have an old-fashioned dust-up, brother, with other people.
Thank you, TT.
I like May, and it's a tough call. And I'm going to tell you something about Drake May. I love him, and he reminds me a lot of Herbert. Right? It's easy to say that. 6'5", 240, slender, cannon of an arm. But I'm going to tell you something. Again, you know what scares me about Drake May? And he can run like the wind. He's got everything you want. Sits in the pocket, doesn't have bad habits. And I just started the evaluations. I started now. I'm only like 5 players in, and I will go all the way up to the draft. I'll probably have at least 30 positions done at every position. Can't do them all in one person. And then I'll do small school stuff because I always like to pull out sleepers and late round guys that'll go and make NFL rosters. And I'll usually put them in a list. Names that will make NFL rosters that nobody's talking about on signing free agents. Guys don't get drafted. I like to find those guys. Here's what scares me about Drake May. It's not his play at all. And it's something I said that you cannot be jaded by. The helmet, the team, Wilson, BYU, scared the shit out of me. I would have stayed away from him just because he came out of BYU. Why does Drake May scare me? A little bit. It's not because of his talent, his tape. His tape says he should be drafted very high, top 3, top 1 maybe. That North Carolina helmet scares me. Right? Let's think about who's come out of North Carolina and they've been fucking duds. Now he's different, and we can't be jaded by that. But it is in the back of your mind, North Carolina. Oh, God. I don't know.
You got a long way to go. I mean, you got 4 teams at 5-9, which can put you from 5th to 11th right now in the draft. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't worry about drafting quarterbacks right now because I don't like what's been coming about lately. I would go more the free agent route with quarterbacks and draft a team first because if you remember the last draft that you actually had quarterbacks that made a difference and an impact within the first 3 years was Terry Collins and Scott Purnell that time. After that,
that's right.
Same draft, you've never had
I believe so.
You've never had 2 quarterbacks in the playoffs against one another.
I agree with what Mikey said. But go ahead, Tony, you're right what you're saying. But Mikey just basically said what I said before I led into way back here, which it shouldn't be. That I shouldn't let the fact that he wears a North Carolina uniform affect what I see on tape. Because what you see on tape is, he put it down, and I don't know if he heard what I said, that I see Justin Herbert when I look at Drake May, and he might even be faster, and Herbert can move. And he believes
May is faster. May is
now,
faster.
I'm just saying, look, Now, some people could say, well, that's easy to pick a guy like that. Okay. Okay.
Let me ask you a
giving you
question.
Jaden Daniels
But
right
let me
now.
ask you a question.
Watch.
Let me ask you a question. Do you see
Yeah.
Herbert? Do you see Herbert as taking a team to the promised land?
It's a great question. I think he has the talent to. I think he might. He's always got issues with. He's got Keenan Allen, right? He's got a good running back in what's the kid's name? Austin.
That kid is good, the running back out there.
Yeah, what's the name? Austin. Whatever.
I forgot it.
Yeah,
I know who he
he's a
is.
good player. I think. Look, I'm not making excuses for him. I think he's had his. This is his third offensive coordinator in 3 years, or something like that. I believe so.
Mhm.
I'm not making excuses for him, but there's no denying his talent. And if you put anything around him, he's Mr. Mike Williams every year. He's got one receiver. He's got this kid Palmer. He's okay. They really don't have a big time tight end. Look, I don't want to be like an apologist for him because I wasn't a big pom-pom guy for him. I liked his tape, don't get me wrong. I thought he would be good in the NFL. Didn't think he would do the things he did the first 2 years, but the kid, let's face it, 3 coordinators in 3 years. He's learning a new language every year. Not making excuses for him. I think when it's all said and done, Justin Herbert, depending on who their next head coach is, if it's the right head coach, does win a Super Bowl at some point. I do.
All right. How about we do it like this? Because I'm looking at something and it makes a world of sense. Now keep Justin Herbert in your head. Let's go with the AFC.
And I'm not a Charger fan, you know that.
No, but let's go with the AFC first.
Thank you, Mikey.
Is Justin Herbert better than Lamar Jackson? Just yes or no?
I got to break it down. As a quarterback?
As a quarterback, is Justin Herbert better than Lamar Jackson?
Absolutely. For me, for Craig Gabb.
For you.
For me.
Is Justin Albert better than Tua on the Dolphins?
For me?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have it because there's something I want in a quarterback. So
all right. Hold on. And I'll make my point off of this. Is Justin Albert better than Mahomes?
I'm going to say no because of everything Mahomes has done.
Okay. Is Justin Herbert better than the kid on Jacksonville?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. Is Justin Herbert better than Deshaun Watson on Cleveland?
Absolutely. Deshaun Watson's probably a snap away from being out of the league. What has he done for Cleveland in 3 years? Since giving him $230 million guaranteed. Nothing.
All right. Now hold on a second. I just named you the top 5 teams. You got Justin Herbert, the best quarterback except for Mahomes. Why are the Chargers where the Chargers are then?
A lot goes into that.
Only the coach?
I'm not going to be an apologist for the kid. I'm not.
No, but then you got a big problem. If you're Justin Herbert and you think so highly of him and you're his agent, he's coming up on his 5th year too, isn't he? 4th year, 5th year? Yeah,
and there's talk about wait, Mikey could probably help us here. I think Justin signed a huge contract. Tony, I just want to let you know we got GDM in the house. Hey Greg, just checking into the show. Support, say hello. Thank you so much. Looks like you're having some knowledgeable football folks in the chat. Yes, every time you get a bunch of guys together, we all have our theories and opinions, and that's what makes us special in anything we do. We're all going to be able to voice our opinion, and it's going to be never no bullshit, and it's what we believe. So I'm glad you're here. I hope you enjoy it. Tony, anything for GDM?
I just want to say hello, Gina. You're always a sweetheart and glad to see you.
Thank you, GDM. Thank you so much. Hang out if you want. I mean, I know you probably don't like football, but if you do, you'll hear some craziness here. Tony's in the middle of yelling at me. Go ahead, Tony.
No, I'm not yelling at you. I'm trying to.
We'll make it a fool of me. Go ahead.
You want to know what I would do with Justin Herbert if I was his agent?
Yeah.
I would have waited till Stratford was done and put him across the hallway with the Rams because it looks like here you got one of the top 7 quarterbacks in football.
He needs to be with the right coach. You got me there.
He's on one of the worst teams.
But I don't want to give Dave. You see, I didn't want to say that because then that gives Dave, and I don't want to do this to Dave because I like Dave a lot. He's loyal, but Dave knows that he speaks his mind. We speak ours. right? Otherwise, what good are we if we're not going to be honest with each other? I mean, this is all opinion anyway, but hopefully
He's in the
educated.
wrong place. He's in the
Now, what
wrong
I'm going to
place.
say is this: I don't. The same things I said about Justin Fields. Let's not get this mixed up. Justin Fields is not Justin Herbert, and
No
I'll
way.
live with that, and we could go back on this 3 years from now. Now, Dave said, Justin Fields needs to be in a better system. Maybe. I don't think that's the problem. Maybe he'll be a little better. I still think he's got serious mechanical issues. Justin Herbert, I'm not going to give him an out either. He's having a bad year, this, that, the other thing, whatever it is. They haven't won nothing. Why is he so productive with nothing, without nothing? Could that be a coaching issue? I'm just asking. Could that be the issue? If if Herbert got traded, let's play this game. I'll try to make it where it's a little tough. It's not up. All right, because you gave it to me. You gave it to me, and it was a great analogy. We put Herbert on the Ravens. Are they just as good or they're worse?
Just as good. You can't get much better than where they are. I
Right.
mean,
So you're a big, not big, but you like Lamar.
No. I think their overall team, their
All right.
defense.
You
and
put
everything,
Herbert with
special
the Dolphins. You think he hits all
No.
those weapons all day?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He
So
doesn't
you're a
have
Tua
that.
guy.
No, I just think Tua's got a better arm than Herbert.
Re-
David
really?
Tua Tagovailoa, when he throws the ball downfield, 50
Mhm.
yards, that receiver can go in stride. If you watch when Herbert throws it, they got to move a yard or two sideways. That's a fact. It shows it on film. I think Tua is the most accurate in the NFL, though.
I think he
I
has a
don't
lot
put
of
him
Steve Young. I think he has a lot of Steve Young in his game. How's that?
How about he's one of the only lefties I ever seen with a rocket? A rocket that's accurate. Vic had a rocket that wasn't accurate.
I think accuracy is the biggest part of his game and his mobility.
That's the only difference there.
His comfortability in the pocket.
You got Waddle, but you got Waddle and Tyreek Hill. You got to be accurate and be able to throw it downfield, or that team is nothing. I think he's the best fit.
Okay,
but can
Mikey.
he stay healthy?
Thank you so much, Mikey. I believe Mikey just gave us the numbers to Justin Herbert's contract he signed.
It's actually more than that.
$262.5 million over 5-year contract extension keeps him with the Chargers to 2029. So now I say this. They just fired their head coach. Who should they be thinking about bringing in as the next head coach there?
I hope they don't bring in who they're talking about.
Belichick?
He would be the worst fit for a guy like Justin.
For a quarterback?
He's
Why
not
didn't they
Tom Brady.
why didn't they go all out for Sean Payton last year?
Sean Payton's a better offensive mind than Bill Belichick by
Right.
miles.
So why didn't he go to why didn't the Chargers go after him last year in the offseason?
Sean Payton carries a lot of bad luggage with him that is kept very private. But in a town like LA or New York, Sean Payton might get exposed. Why did he go to Denver? Why did he go to Denver, Craig?
Well, I believe San Diego, I call him San Diego, I'm sorry. I believe the LA Chargers courted Sean Payton, and everybody thought that was going to be the landing spot for him last season. And I think he just decided that he wasn't ready to come back to the NFL. And I think he wanted that Denver job for whatever reason. And he wound up going there. And look, they got off to a horrible start. Now Russell Wilson is playing within the Sean Payton system. And they're right. They're going to be better next year. Sean Payton's doing what Sean Payton does. I just think a coach like Sean Payton would be great for Herbert. I don't know about these young, because now he's going to be going into his fourth offense in 4 years. So
Who's
you
the
hope
coach?
this next guy
Who's
they
the
bring
coach?
in is going
Who's the
to be
coach?
around.
Who's the coach that went to who's at USC from Oklahoma State?
Lincoln Riley.
Oklahoma.
Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley would have been the best fit for Justin Herbert.
Offensive mind, offensive guy, no doubt.
All right, but let's get back to this Herbert again because he's a talented guy. San Francisco, is Purdy better than Herbert?
Oh, God, I love that question. Is Purdy better than Justin Herbert?
No way.
Is that what the question you asked me?
Who would you take, Purdy or Herbert?
Why do you fucking do this to me?
Because I'm going to show you how good Herbert is, and he's definitely not.
No,
supposed to
because
be
you
on that
want to
team.
see how married I am to Dustin Herbert.
No, I am too. But you're missing what I try to say.
No, I'm gonna give you the answer. That's the right answer.
Justin Herbert's better.
All right, so now I'll ask you this.
Go
You
ahead.
put Herbert on the 49ers, how are they?
Oh, they might not have lost a game this year.
So, if we're not going to base it off traits.
Well,
you
wait a
think
minute.
this-
Wait a minute.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
but that just says how great Kyle Shanahan is. No,
All right,
and
but
then
let's
don't
go-
take nothing
let's
away from Purdy. Purdy's going to win the MVP, and he should. Or Christian
All right.
McCaffrey, one of them.
I don't think either one of them are going to win the MVP.
Whatever.
I
I
think
don't
he-
even follow this shit. I just hear people talk
I
about
don't
it.
give a fuck
I don't.
either. I think they should, but I think you're going to see something that never happened in the NFL this year because of the way of different movements are pushing the NFL. I think it's going to go to Tyreek Hill if he finishes this season out over the 2,000 yards and all that bullshit.
I'm going to
I-
answer your question on who I think is better because I feel like I can't be sitting on the fence. I just have to answer it to answer it. And whatever my opinion is, it is.
Go
You
ahead.
asked me who do I think at the position of quarterback, who is the
Yes.
better player, Brock
Mhm.
Purdy or Justin Herbert?
That's what I said.
Right. Now, when you ask me that question, I'm removing the teams and I'm just looking at the position, the player.
Uh-huh.
Okay? I'm not thinking about what team he's playing with. I'm just talking about the player.
Okay.
And if I'm building a team tomorrow, I have the first pick, and it's between Purdy or Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know anything about their future. I can't see into the future. I don't know what they did in the past.
Not even. It's a no-brainer, Craig.
Right. But Purdy has proved everybody and their mother's wrong.
We're not talking about that. Do you think Purdy is better than Justin Herbert right now?
Oh, it just fucking kills me to say it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I disagree. I think Herbert's better. Dak Prescott or Herbert?
Herbert.
Okay.
Dak, too many
Ja-
games. He can't win big games. Too many
Jared-
games.
You're absolutely right. There's not even nothing to argue about that. Jared Goff or Herbert?
Not even close. Goff can't play in a big game either.
All right. Tampa Bay's got who? Baker?
Baker.
Baker or Herbert right now?
Baker's playing good ball. Herbert.
Okay. Now this one is up for grabs. Jalen Hurts or Herbert?
I don't even want to say based off of recent play because it's
Forget
pretty-
about race. Forget about
No, I
race.
don't
We're
want to
talking
even say
about-
it, but I'm going to put it out there because his play has been terrible. And it's another guy, you watch his tape, you'll see his eye levels coming down again, like it was in Alabama, why he wound up in Oklahoma. Long story short,
Herbert.
or vice versa. I'm going to go with her.
Okay, so here's what the example I'm going to give you that we just broke down out of the
Yeah,
top
you give me the
10
numbers
teams.
and prove me wrong. That's cool.
You only got Herbert behind one quarterback in the AFC, and you only got Herbert behind one quarterback in the NFC's top 5 teams each. So you
Well,
just
you
broke
didn't ask me a
down
few guys.
who? I'm giving you the top 5. Top 5.
You didn't ask me about Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's not in the top 5 right now.
Oh, no,
We'll
I
get
didn't know
to
how
that.
you were doing it. Okay.
I'm talking
you got
about
a
the
reason for doing what
5
you were doing. I got you.
I'm talking about the 5 best in each conference today.
Yeah, I think Herbert's as good as a lot of them. I do put him in the top 5, yeah. Or higher. I only
would
have a couple
say-
guys better than him, talent-wise, across the board.
All right, Josh Allen or Herbert? You want to get to that? We'll get to that.
I'm going to go with Herbert. I'll tell you why.
So will I, and I'm waiting for your answer first.
He doesn't throw the big interception, or hasn't up until I think recently, and I haven't really studied his numbers this year, and I'll get into it at the end of the year. He's more accurate down the field, less apt to be the gunslinger guy to try to force it in there like Brett Favre used to try to sometimes because he had such a strong arm. That doesn't mean I like Josh. I'll take Josh any day. But
I think Herbert's even more disciplined than
yeah,
Allen.
I think Josh is a more of a thrower. Herbert's more of a he could throw a touch. Not that Josh can't. Look, we're cutting fucking hairs here, but I'm going with Herbert again.
All right, so now here's the big thing that I would do, and they already talked about it, so that's why I'm just reading it.
Mikey's got something to say. Let's give Mikey. Mikey's got. Hey, Mikey, I love your opinion, bro, because I respect the shit out of it because I know you know the game. Mikey says I'll take Allen over Herbert in the long run. He might be 100% right. Hey, I hope we're alive 5 years from now and this is still going. And you come back to me and all tell me, wow, you're a real asshole. This guy never did shit.
But here's the problem with Herbert. Here's the problem.
But
here's the problem with Herbert and Allen. You got 10 quarterbacks, 12 quarterbacks that are gunslingers right now in the NFL. You got teams that are ahead of both Buffalo and LA Chargers right now, where it's going to be that difficult. This is a bad time period for Josh Allen. Josh Allen's going to be 28 or 29 years old. 29. I'm looking at it right now. He's not going to be he reminds me of a guy like Randall Cunningham.
Reminds me of Cam Newton. Better thrower.
I don't think Cam Newton was in his.
No, what I mean by Cam Newton, I mean is he took a beating in his early years from running them all the time.
All right, well, I'll put it to you even better.
That's what I mean.
If C.J. Stroud had the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen had the Houston Texans, what do you think the outcomes would be for both of them teams?
If C.J. Stroud and who?
And Josh Allen swap spots.
What would the outcomes be on those teams?
Mm-hmm.
CJ's a rookie, Josh Allen. CJ in Buffalo, Josh with the Texans.
Yes, sir.
You aren't going to like what I'm going to say. I think Josh would be, well, no, I got to look at it this way. If CJ can do what he's doing with what he's got over there, I would think Josh could do the same.
Can I give my answer?
It's hard to say, but I would say, you know what? I think Josh would be frustrated being there and wouldn't do as good. They got Stroud at the right time, a rookie that doesn't care what's around him, doesn't give a shit, and just wants to ball out.
But he's
Whereas
also
the veteran's going to have the mindset. You got to get me some pieces with names.
No, I know you watch.
I could be wrong. What the fuck am I?
I know you watch. I know you watch football news shows like I do. How about they're so impressed with this Stroud? And the question was one of the questions this week. They asked if he was on 3 different teams. They had the Bills at 9.
Good point, Mikey.
They had the Bills at 9-5 or 10-4 at this point if they had C.J. Stroud this year. That's 5 analysts. You know, maybe Josh Allen. Listen, it also goes into psychological when you're an NFL quarterback, right? Or Josh Allen didn't sleep for 2 days before the biggest game of his life because he had woman problems. Known fact, he had cops at his house and everything. He might have blown his best chance.
Josh Allen?
Yeah, because the defense is not that good over there. All right?
I agree.
Diggs is the type of guy, if he
wants out.
Diggs is the type of guy at the end of this year, if you don't go further, get me the fuck out just like you did in Minnesota. Because I got news for you guys, and you're not going to like this one. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback who can throw the ball. He just makes stupid mistakes.
Good veteran. Somebody the Jets should have thought about.
100%.
Especially now in this offseason.
100%. And I'm going to tell you something else the Jets
Pittsburgh, too.
I'm going to tell you something else the Jets should have thought about. And he was waiting for it, and it never happened. Longevity, I would have went for Lamar Jackson over Aaron Rodgers.
Longevity.
He's not better. He's not better. But
right, because Rodgers was already so many years in the league.
Correct. And he would have brought you, and this is not about race, but it is a racial thing. He would have brought you Odell Beckham. He would have brought you a couple of other players that wanted to stay with Lamar Jackson. So the Jets might be a different team if they had Lamar Jackson. and the durability at this stage of his life and his youth. He's a young. Aaron Rodgers is 42 years old going to be, guys.
It's a good. I'll tell you, it's a good
I
overall synopsis, like the way to put it, and because there's a lot to really think about in that scenario, and that's why, honestly, you talk about these things. If this guy was here, it's just like comparing. It's so hard to compare errors. For me, I have a hard time with it. Like,
well, let me ask you a question. I make
errors like would Bradshaw be good? Like when we comparing errors, it's very hard to do. But go ahead. But those are great stuff, man. Great.
All right, let me ask you a
points.
question. Would you rather have Lazard or Odell Beckham Jr.?
Would I rather have
Lazard, the wide receiver on the Jets? Lazard or Odell Beckham?
After what I've seen this year,
yes.
I never thought I'd say this. I would rather have Beckham what I see this year than this guy Lazard. And I never thought I'd say that because I thought Lazard was decent in Green Bay. I guess I was wrong. And I thought Beckham was finished. I really did.
Okay, but
now I don't know what he's done in Baltimore. I haven't been, I go through it at the end.
You know what? Very impressed. He's fit the system perfectly, and they are 11-3, Craig.
Absolutely, they're a powerhouse. They're a team to be reckoned with. The question is,
here is a statement.
No,
here's a statement from Odell Beckham Jr. I was waiting to sign with the Jets if Lamar was on board.
And he was. They didn't sign him. They played a game with his contract for a long time.
Right. So now here's the problem in all sports. Remember when the Heat made up the LeBron James, Chris Bosh? Players talk when they're not supposed to, but who gives a fuck? If they make a team better, they make a team better. LeBron brought Anthony Davis with him to LA, all that bullshit. It's now starting to carry over to the NFL. You got this kid out on the Raiders, 17. What's his name? The wide receiver that was on Green Bay.
Adams.
Who? Devontae Adams.
Mikey's saying, I want to get Mikey here. Josh on the Browns and replace Stefanski with Andy Reid. I mean, that's a hypothetical, but boy, I don't like. Look, of course, I'm a Steelers fan, so I can't even look at Stefanski. But you're right, because look what Jimmy Schwartz has done to solidify that defense to make Stefanski look like a genius of a head coach, right?
But Craig, let me ask you this: Devontae Adams, to me, is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL,
right?
By far.
But that hands down, that goes to show you how Josh McDaniels is not a great head coach. Because if you learn anything, you never get the wide receiver when you're building a team. You never go out and get the big wide receiver until you have the proven quarterback.
Well, I agree, but here's
try to build a team around the fucking wide receiver. It don't work.
All right, but I'm not going to blame Adams for that.
No. But I'm just saying. But
let me
that's why he wasn't a good head coach. But Devontae, your question, hands down.
Okay.
On a bad team, he's still great.
All right. You do know the Raiders gave him an option to leave last year. They were on very bad terms. Absolutely. Go back and look at anything. I'm reading it right now. He picked 3 teams. He didn't pick the Jets after they signed Aaron Rodgers. Why not?
And weren't they good friends?
No, he was best friends with.
Together.
They played together in Green Bay all them years. The reason he went to the Raiders, he's best friends with Carr, the one that they got rid of. Him and Carr are godparents to each other.
Yeah, I know. They played at Fresno State together.
Okay, that didn't work out. They thought that was going to make. David Carr's got a great arm, but he's a fucking a psycho in his head. But why didn't any of these top receivers? Lazard's okay. He's a mid-level guy. They also didn't play in a great division all them years. But why didn't he go with him?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't Beckham go with him? Why didn't Hopkins, a free agent, go with him?
Obviously, he wasn't liked. Thought he was a tool bag.
Okay, so Wilson's a great wide receiver with the Jets, but they drafted him. Why didn't all these free agents and guys who played with him in the past that were the best, not Lazard, go with him?
not a good teammate. I mean, I can think of 1,000 things. You might, they didn't
Okay,
enjoy
but
playing with him.
now, if you're an NFL player and you watch the Jets last year, their defense almost got them a playoff game.
In every game.
Okay, so now you would think, okay, Aaron Rodgers is there. You're going to have a handful of receivers that want to go there, correct? Brady got Antonio Brown to win a Super Bowl. Brady got Antonio Brown, that psycho, to win a Super Bowl with him and behave for 1 year. Why couldn't Rodgers draw that big wide receiver?
Because he demanded Lazard, Cobb, and I forget who else he wanted.
He couldn't get rid of Wilson, and they actually had to
washed up. And Corey Davis retired.
And they had to get rid of a wide receiver.
Corey Davis played with him for a month in training camp and retired.
Right, but who was the wide receiver they traded? One of them left the Jets. It was real good.
I know Corey Davis left. He retired. He was going to be a starter for them.
Now, we all talking about Rodgers, and I think Rodgers' numbers are unbelievable as a professional. Don't get me wrong. I think he's dead spot on numbers-wise with Tom Brady. But I'm going to put it to you right now. He never had competition in his division. So he was guaranteed to get to the playoffs almost every year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can't argue that.
So now, if you were the Jets making that pick last year, I would have thought it out a little bit more and said, wait a minute, Lamar isn't as good, but can bring a lot more talent with him, which was turned out to be true in Baltimore.
Makes sense. It definitely makes sense. Well, the point where you're coming from, absolutely.
All right. So now Herbert has a $262.5 million contract. You think they're going to want to pay him all that money if they're in last place after the guys start getting beat up and other players leave?
Let's make a move for him right now, Pittsburgh. Let's do it.
I would say he would be great with the Steelers. If I was the Jets, I know my defense is solidified. I'd make a move.
Probably more so, you're right. But is he going to want to sit behind Rodgers for a year?
I don't know if Rodgers comes back healthy enough.
Maybe don't come back if they made that deal. But you know what? The Jets aren't smart enough to do that. But there's another team that will consider that. The Raiders would be smart to do that. But I don't know. I mean, we can think of 1,000.
I got a feeling that Stratford is coming down to the wire with his career. I think the Rams will make a push for him in a trade.
Stafford's coming. He's always banged up. He's hurting. Yeah, he's playing hurt. Yeah. And you know what? He'd be great. You put him with McVay and the weapons they got there. Woo, I'd love to see that.
But we're thinking about another team. The Detroit Lions have Jared Goff. He's long in the tooth, too.
Perfect transition with Danny Campbell. I agree. Listen,
I want to say the best fit is him.
I want to say something. If you want to, we're going on almost a 3-hour mark. If you want to give a send-off here, I just want to thank everybody for coming in. Tony, you got anything to say? Stay with us. We're going to have some great shit coming up. Phenomenal shit. Tone?
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. I know it's the night before Christmas Eve. We're all getting ready to do what we got to do. And I can't thank you guys enough. You've all been great. Mikey, you're the best.
Mikey, awesome, brother. Thank you so much, man. I hope you come in all the time, bro. We're going to have a lot of fun here. A lot of fun between sports and the other shit we do. We're going to have a lot of fun. Everybody out there that spent any time with us tonight, God bless you. Enjoy your holiday. Enjoy your Christmas. Be well. Take care of your family. That's what counts. Be safe. Be smart. And me and Tony will be back right after the holiday with a banger. I don't want to take nobody's words, a banger. Tony, we got to come up with like a slogan.
Cinnamon
Keep
Girl.
Dial where it is. Anyway,
Cinnamon Girl.
Tone, I love you. All you guys love you. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Peace. We good, Tone?